Beautiful aged. I am a man who hasn't commentated in a year. I'm being joined by the legendary man who was half asleep. Say hello, Liam.
Hi, I'm not quite sure what I've done to earn the word legendary, but I'll take it and run with it.
Yes, we are here at the Ostrike Ring. We're here at Austria. Beautiful circuit. Haven't really seen a lot of Austria recently, so it's going to be quite fun to watch cars drive here. We have got, is it 10 cars? We have 8 cars on circuit. We're missing one, and one of them is disappeared into, we don't know where it's gone, as per usual. It does happen. They do vanish. They, like, disappear. But, Liam, in a season which has been quite entertaining, have you been keeping track?
No,
Good.
I'm going to be completely honest. No, I obviously raced in this last season for AXR, and then I just disengaged myself. I occasionally, if I'm on YouTube and I see the stream is there, I'll come by and like drop in, watch a couple of minutes, leave, drop back in a bit. But yeah, no, I haven't actually been really keeping up with this series.
Good. I've been racing in it. Have I kept up with it? No. I've one run race I've done so far, but we have got constructors, and I'm going to have to try and pronounce the top guys because I'm dyslexic and can't say things in different languages. So in first, on 155 point, we've got SBM Rinmeister, ahead of Racing Team Finland as 113 points, Assetto AXR with 94 points, and then we've got Forza AXR. I don't know which one's which, I'll be honest. I'm going to say the Mercedes is the Assetto and Forza is the other one, but either way. Then we've got Scuderia Stoni Umli on 65 points. And these names are very long, complicated. We've got Scuderia Chiria on 64 points, FTR on 60 points. We've got Herman Motorsport on 43, Turi Autosport on 5 points, Racing the Machine on 0 points at the back. So there's your constructors so far. And in terms of who is driving today, we've got Rotary driving, we've got Mitchell, we've got Beetlejuice Splash, Knockback Fred, we've got Eck, and also Rob, who is going to be doing Stint 2. And there we go, qualifying is beginning.
Yeah, and to answer your earlier question, the Mazda is the Forza Aggie Packs, and the Mercedes is the Assetto Aggie Packs.
Right, excellent. Thank you very much for
Not that we're going to need that to reference throughout the race. We're probably just going to call them the AXR cars.
Yeah, we are going to call them the AXR. I have no idea which car is which on any of them, so this is going to be entertaining. Now, all the cars are inside each other on my screen coming out the pit lane, which is beautiful. And I'm going to go and grab the stream link, because I've been told to get the stream link, so you start talking.
Oh, yeah, that's pressure. So, we have everyone coming out of the track apart from Rettel Gaze. That's probably absolutely not how you pronounce it, but we have Oppa and Excellent fighting for track position. You got Luke Mitchell just behind, that is Fred just behind them, and yeah, considering they've got 15 minutes and a whole lap's worth to sort themselves out, they'd rather try and fight it out right now. As well, if they can fight like this during the race, we'll be fine with that, but
yes,
at some point, whoever's behind will probably have to start backing up.
Yeah, normally you would imagine that it would be the car behind that would do it, but we don't know. Well, there we go. Well, that helps with the spin of X in the car, which I believe is leading, is quite high up in the championship. That's the 63 car, which, according to my note, aka the image, is the one that's 155 points. So he is the championship leading team. So who is the first car? It is going to be AXR Splash. So we're going on board with a nice on-board lap with the Mazda down towards turn number 1, uphill braking, up into 140, 150 miles an hour. Spot the braking there, about the 75 metre pod, chuck it into the right. Don't go too deep over the curb, otherwise you'll end up spinning or getting a penalty, because the penalties on this track are evil. Into turn number 2, which isn't really turn number 2, but we have to call it turn number 2 because that's what it apparently is. Up into turn number 3. Into turn 4, and then of course downhill in towards turn number 5. Downhill braking into it, very easy, Liam, it's to lock up and go wide in all motorsports, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've just come off of turn 1 and turn 4, 2 uphill braking zones where you are almost tricked into thinking you can brake late, but it is so easy at this turn 5 to just go too fast in, thinking you've braked at the right point, and you just overshoot it. It's incredibly easy to do.
Indeed, into the double left-hander, which I believe is 6 and 7, if memory serves me correct. 2 left-handers into this right-hander up here. I haven't commentated for a long time. You could probably tell there is a lot of rust coming off here. It then it's uphill into the 2 last corners, the double right-hander, which again, very easy to make a mistake. Into that, don't go too wide, don't get on the curb, don't go across the track limits. Into the last corner, which again, very easy just to snatch a wheel on the inside, go too wide, pick up a penalty, and that is that. He hasn't picked up a penalty, though normally you do. 128.5 for the first lap. We expect that to go down very quickly. Opper in second, and then we've got X currently. Let's see, he's not on a lap time, but we expect Liam, presumably, he's going to go fastest, figuring they're leading the championship.
No, he has just backed off this lap. I just went on board with him and he was lefting between the 2 corners, and we also saw Knockback have an accident out of the final turn. That's why he is carrying damage into the 137.
Across the line goes Beetlejuice, up to P3 so far, driving the... I'd rather say it's quite a nice livery, I'd say, Beetlejuice's car, being it's pretty much just... Well, it's not really anything, it's just two-tone colour, but I do like two-tone colours. They do mix colours. You don't normally see them as well.
No, it's kind of depends on what light it's looking at. Some shades almost looks kind of brown, some it looks
maroon,
almost orangey, but yeah, it looks to be like a dark red.
Yeah. Let's have a look then at X then, SBM, and he's going down into the braking zone, snats to brake, get it chucked in, and he's got one of, well, the only FTR car ahead of him, because only one of them. I don't know why I was thinking there could be 2. There's one of them is at the commentary box, at least. But I digress. Let's see, keep it nice and tight here. You can open the car up a little bit on the exit, not like the car ahead who's opened up a bit too much. 8/10 quicker in Sector 2, so this is going to be a mega lap as long as he can finish it off. Bit twitchy on there. We have got another car. It seems to have joined, of Gobby, and he picks up a 5/10 penalty, Liam, proving the track limits on this game very, very strict.
Yes, it's clearly showing to be like real life when, you know, Formula 1 comes here, where, you know, last year, or was it? Yeah, last year, where it was just post-race, it was like, yeah, you've got 30 track limits, seconds, penalties, you've got 10, you've got 15, you've got 5, everyone gets penalties, and it's the same here.
27.5 though that lap would have been. That was a second quicker than anyone else. So, if the car can keep it on the island, we expect him to go pole. The question is, and presumably he will.
Yes, considering he's got, you know, a second's worth of pace advantage, so far anyway, where obviously, you know, more people can find time, but to have that in pocket, you know, he just needs to put in a lap and he'll have a provisional pole that would be pretty safe, you'd imagine. Indeed.
Of course, we believe a lot of cars will come in, of course, in the next, I'd say a couple of the laps around about the 10-minute mark, just to take new tyres and have the fuel a little bit less, just to go for their last lap push, which seems to be a common trend here in AXR, and it's a pretty common trend normal other places. Now, of course, it's quite important to note where the slowdown zone is. It is right out of this corner here and up in towards the last 2 double right-handers. Kind of a better place to have it, because it used to be, I'm pretty certain, down out of turn number 1.
Yes, I do recall that on Sport. It used to be up on the run up towards turn 4, so having it, you know, in the last sector is probably better.
Yeah, certainly is, because you lose less time, which is what you like to see. And there we go, a 128.0, despite having a penalty, goes quickest. That's like terrifying.
Yes, to see your competition go, well, now 3/10 faster than Rotary, despite having a slowdown penalty, which, you know, usually loses you more than it actually says. You know, a half-second penalty would probably cost you more than that.
Now, let's see. We expect probably a 7/10 gap, I reckon. He's going to go quicker.
Well, he was already purple in Sector 1, so it's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. Let's see. Make it down the hill and, you know, be fine spot around about the 100-metre spot just afterwards. That just pretty much underneath the giant gantry is where you want to brake. Nice on the exit. A little bit twitchy as he squirms on the power. And then, of course, spot your braking zone into here, all the way over the curb, about the 100-metre board, I believe that was, or 50-metre board, one of the two of them. Jennifer, again, really squirming the rear end of the Mazda, 62 thousandths up, but remember, this is where he had the penalty, so what's the time? As Splash goes to a 128.5, 128.5 for Oppa into the last two corners. Again, spot your braking zone, about the 50-metre board. Keep it in track limits, just let the car flow through into the last corner, which is one of the hardest corners on this track in my opinion. Gets it nice there, again a little bit squirming on the exit hour, but this is going to be a mega lap time, 6 tenths up, 127.3, 8 tenths now ahead of Rotary in second. Beetlejuice currently in third. It does improve, but not by a lot. And we've got Fredu not on a lap time. Currently, he's got a penalty, and I think everyone else has just finished their laps as well.
Yeah, there's a very close pack in the sort of mids 28s. There's 3 people within 300ths of a second. Fred, Splash,
Oppa as well.
Yes. Sorry, I'll change to display his IDs. I have nicknames on, so I'll put IDs so I know who you're talking about.
Good idea. I always switch randomly depending on how I feel.
No, I'll always go nicknames so people can be called what they want.
Do you know what? I'll do that quickly as well. Let's there we go. I'll have their actual names going up. Now we've got last place. We've got Knockback in the Aston Martin there, and the second Aston Martin just a little bit ahead of him. So the two Aston Martins trailing the field, and I believe, Liam, was it you drove Aston Martin last season?
Oh God, now you're testing me. Oh. What did I drive last season? That's a good question.
I think it was the Mercedes, and then you went into the Aston, or was the Aston into the Mercedes? It was one of the ways around.
Now you're testing me.
Alright, there we go. We've got testing with Eva Pay. It's quiz time. Whilst you figure that one out, let's go and watch Ethan. Oh, there he is. There he goes, and into the pit lane. I like when that happens. Right, let's go down then. Who else on a lap time? We've got about 5 minutes to go. We've got Knockback coming out of the last corner. Does he improve on his lap time? Yes, by a whole second. Now 1.7 off the pace. A tenth off his fellow Aston Martin friend. So, progress. And as long as he keeps going, might have to be the quickest around here. That's the key. Quick doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent and don't crash. Normally.
Yes. It's all good and well being, you know, being like excellent and being 7-8 tenths faster than everyone, but if you're going to make mistakes every lap or potentially throw it in the wall. I mean, the one thing I did notice is, obviously, we saw the car was sliding around a lot on the back end. His tyre wear on the rear was really bad compared to the other cars. So whether that's going to affect him in the race, or whether he's just, you know, really pushing it and disqualifying.
We're on about the car of Ethan, I believe?
Eck, he had really bad
yes,
tyre wear.
Eck. Seems to be. I mean, we expect of any of the drivers to also have bad tyre. He's going to be the Mercedes of Ethan, because it would appear, and I don't know if he's fixed it, but whenever me and Lewis drove the car, the tyres decided they didn't want to be on the car. Though to be fair, normally when I drive the tyres, don't want to be on the car anyway, but I digress on that one. But tyre wear, it's a very tricky thing to get right, it seems, in these, especially on this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can never really comment because tyre wear is not one of my strong suits in racing. Like, I know Rob can testify to this because I drove for AXR for, I don't know, a year and a half or so. And anytime we would do an event, my tyre wear was noticeably worse than everyone's. I don't know what I did wrong, but I would happily admit my driving style was very aggressive. It was very much throw it at the corner and hope it sticks.
Yes,
yeah.
Fernando
Driving
Alonso.
style have a big influence.
Yes, you like the Fernando Alonso driving style, as he's your favourite driver.
He is, but that's not the reason I drive like that. That's just how I've always driven.
Indeed.
I'm not very nice to my cars. I'm very aggressive on them.
Talking of cars, the car we mentioned earlier on, by the way, of that lovely livery of the Learner Badge, currently P2, it is Jay Iktonen, of course, the Finnish driver. we do want to say about it. Well, all I want to say was, talking of Finnish drivers, speedy recovery to Heikki Kovalainen after his open heart surgery he's had recently. Wishing him all the best. Our one-time Grand Prix winner after Massa decided to blow up beautifully with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I remember that one. Arguably, I mean, people always talk about Singapore 2008 costing him the title, but they always seem to forget his engine blowing with like 5 laps to go in Hungary when he was comfortably winning.
Indeed, in a season of 2008, which was up and down, very dramatic, had lots of things going on, and a big lawsuit that occurred recently because one Felipe Massa is a little bit upset and wants some money. Bless him.
Yeah, and to answer your earlier question, I found a photo. I was in the Aston Martin last season for GTWEC. The only reason I know that is because it had my race number on the side, and I believe I was with Splash.
I think you were,
if
yes.
I recall correctly. Yeah, no. I just noticed because I found a photo when it had 41 on the side, so I was like, well, it must be me if it's got 41 on it.
Indeed. Well, last lap times going up. We've got the 2 Finnish drivers, second and third. Through the last corner comes the third place, and let's see, does he improve? 34 thousandths down. How do you pronounce that lane, Liam? Well, how would you pronounce it?
Whose name?
Third place.
Raudasoja? Probably not, but I'm basically saying it how I read it.
Raudasoja. Neither do I. I know how to pronounce second place because it's Itkunen, pretty much, something like that.
That sounds a lot more Spanish. Ends in unen.
It does improve though, down to under half a second off of pole position. Who's just going on to his last lap right now? Who else on a lap time? I should probably actually look who's on a lap than try and pronounce drivers' names. Let's see, Ethan up to the line. He's just beginning his last lap, so we are pretty much on the last lap showdown of qualifying so far. Splashdown in 6th, Mitchell and Knockback down there. I don't know if we're going to get a lobby reset to allow this other guy in, as he's a little bit late, so we shall see. Who's going to be the first driver to cross the line with a few seconds to go? We'll run on board with Radshoja as he comes up towards the last 2 corners. Up the hill he comes. And in the background you can see the giant Red Bull ball. There we go, they're down the hill into the last corner. Make it nice and smooth. Don't get too much on the curb and lose the car. Get it just about within the track limits. That should be fine. Up to the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. And gets another lap on top of it as well. Next up to cross the line is going to be Fred. Dude goes up to 4th. And has crossed the line just, I think, with enough time to go. Nope, he's crossed it just as the checkered flag went. Next up, we've got Splash through the last corner. Does he find any time? Can he get himself up into 4th position and beat his AXR friend? Nope, 12 thousandths down. Ikonen crosses the line right now. Does he improve? Neither does so as well. I think, is it Ethan? We've got 1 or 2 cars coming up. One spun, I think, into the last corner, coming to the pit lane. So we'll ride on board with Ethan through the last corner. Eck has invalid lap time, but he's got pole position so far. Ethan does improve, stays 5th position. Luke Mitchell does not improve, and I believe the last car on track is Knockback, and I believe also Rachoja still has a lap just about on board as well.
Yeah, Knockback has damage. I know he crashed early on, but I'm presuming he went and got that fixed, so I'm guessing he's crashed somewhere again.
Indeed, let's see into the last 2 corners. Can Rasoja beat his fellow Finnish driver of Ikonen? Through the last 2 corners, he'll pick up a little bit of a tow, I imagine, as well, coming up to the line. That might not help him. He's going to get out the way. He's going to try and snatch any tow he can. Can't quite get down that. Does improve. Not enough, though. So, 2nd and 3rd for the 2 Finnish drivers. But it is the car of SBM Eck on pole position for this race. A 1:27.3. Gap did close to just under half a second.
Yeah, it was pretty tight throughout the field, you know. 4th was pretty hotly contested, 2nd was quite hotly contested, but 1st place was definitely not a half-second advantage on a pretty short track.
The Max Verstappen route there, being half a second ahead of the field. It wasn't actually in qualifying, it was not half a second, but let's not look at F1 because it's sad, and to look at this beautiful track in Spielberg, which first hosted a race, I believe it was all the way back in the 1960s. I do, if I recall memory, back on the older Austria ring, which is the better version of this circuit and a bit more terrifying.
Yeah, a few iterations of this track, you know. I think when I was a kid, I knew it as the A1 ring.
Yes, the old
Back
A1
in the early
GP.
2000s.
I believe it was a telecommunication company, of course, back then. And then it became the Red Bull ring after it kind of went into disrepair in between 2004 and about 2012. But let's get on to the grid for what is going to be 1.5 hours of racing, which I believe is going to be around about 80 to 90 laps. Let's see what the drivers can do. 5 red lights shining above the circuit. Remember, when they go off, the cars will be underway. And let's see who's going to get the good start. It gets a good start. So does Ikonen as well. He gets a slightly better start. They're down in towards turn number 1. Giving a bit of a squeeze does the Maslow as they do just about touch wheels into turn number 1. Are they going to keep it all nice and clean through turn number 1? Looks like the 2 Mercedes behind got a bit of contact, even getting shuffled out wide. But I think, Liam, everyone just about getting through turn number 1 correctly. We've got 3 wide in the background, but Mitchell backs off of it. So everyone getting through turn number 1 absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it seems so, but are they going to get through turn 4? Yeah, it seems like they're going to, which is impressive from all these drivers. Oh, I heard some wheel spin in the back there, but everyone seems to be okay and no damage.
No damage. The 2 Mercedes then, well, the 3 Mercedes go wheel to wheel, even giving Ikonen a little bit of a squeeze, but Ikonen going to drive down the inside then. First lap, you don't want to end up taking each other out, even getting a bit shuffled out. And you imagine he is going to be a little bit frustrated on that one. And first lap shenanigans do tend to happen. And that corner, is he always a corner that's going to catch drivers out of the first lap?
Yes, like I said earlier, it's very easy to get your braking zone wrong, and it seems Ethan just went in, you know, a little deep. And then, I guess Ikonen, as he's kind of entitled to do, took his racing line, which almost, I don't know if Ethan was already in the gravel or just slightly helped him into it, but it's lost him position to Fred, but not too much damage done other than the position lost.
Indeed, he'll be able to surely come back on it. We know he's a quick driver on his day. Further down the field, we've got the battle between the 2 Aston Martins, and we've also got the other Mazda and the Soul Supra in the field. The picky in the middle almost right now as well, and the green and black car. And hello to Aquapax Racing, that is Rob saying hello. Hello, Rob, down there as he watches on his merry way. But up front, 2.6 seconds, Liam, is the gap for the leader. He is going away very quickly.
He is, yes, but I don't know if you can see that, but already his tyre wear is like a notch worse than Ikonen's. But I guess if he's this fast, it's not going to matter. He can probably make 2 more pit stops than everyone, and he'll probably be fine. So I don't think his tyre wear will affect him.
No, certainly not in the orange car. Very size up the corner in the Ren car, which I will say looks very beautiful in that dazzling orange. As then we've got the trail of Mercedes all line astern, and then the rest of the field slowly dropping back. A bit of a gap between 4th, 5th, and then we've got 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th altogether. Mitchell bringing up the rear so far, and a driver which I've known for over 12 years, which is thoroughly entertaining. There, we just mysterious small community, it turns out, Liam. We just bump into each other randomly.
Wait, who have you known?
Mitchell.
Years?
Used to be known as Epic Giratina back in the day, a long time ago on GT6 and 5.
I mean, there's every chance I might have bumped into him at some point, but I certainly think I only know, well, basically most of the people I know in sim racing through AXR.
Yeah, indeed. So it's a small community, but it's just surprised you, Matt. Even that, flashing his lights ever so slightly as we ride on board with the Mercedes driver. Has he got an opportunity down into turn number 3? Well, he's closing. Is he going to go dive to the inside? Yes, he is. Has he got the overlap? Yes, he has, just about. Does he give the car on the outside space? The answer is just about. And that drops Fred Dude down a position as well. So and then a bit of contact there on that number 3 between those two, but I was riding in board as Fred Dude almost for a second was going to dive up the inside of the Supra. Thought better of it, but did you catch that, Liam, as well?
Yes, I was on board with Ethan at the time. You know, There was maybe a little head and shoulder on the exit, but I think it was completely fine. I think maybe it was just, you know, two cars meeting in a very tight corner, and Fred unfortunately loses out a bit like Ethan kind of did on that one.
Certainly. So, well, that allows Splash in the Mazda, a car which, objectively, it's a car that I don't know how I feel about it still. Obviously, it's the only car on the field that is very much not a real car. I do believe, well, I'm 90% certain it's not a real car. 99%. But as a GT3 car, I don't know, what do you think of it, Liam? Does it fit in with these cars?
I mean, it naturally stands out due to the fact that it is a rotary engine. It's very loud. But, I mean, in terms of design, I'd say it's definitely sticks out. It definitely looks different. It's not a car I have much experience with, and I can tell you, having made the livery, it is a weird shape to work with, but I'd say it fits in just about enough. Although it's not enough to... You wouldn't look twice at it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't not look twice at it. You'd see this field, see that Mazda and go, that looks a bit odd, but it's acceptable.
It's always the rear wing that I think that's the thing that stands out most. It's a peculiar rear wing shape. It's a bit more different. Well, it's very different to the rest of the field, given everything else is basically just a straight line. It's a rectangle, and that thing's a curve. I suppose the only reason why it stands out, but it looks cool. I'll give it that one. It's definitely the best looking.
The rear wing is also very low compared to a lot of other cars. It doesn't go very tall, and the end plates are sort of curved outwards, and yeah, the wing's definitely weird. And yeah, I mean, I made that livery. I personally don't like that livery that I made, but Rob seems to exist as about the 4th iteration that it's raced in.
Ah. And I imagine you prefer the car ahead of it livery.
Rob has restrictions when it comes to AXR liveries.
Ah, go on, what's the restrictions?
Purple.
Rob just in the chat, everyone loves it.
The restrictions for that Mercedes were basically purple, and it has to have blue as well to make it known that it's in the same team as that one. And whenever I freely choose to design my own cars, I can tell you purple is not a colour I gravitate to.
No, it's a nice colour. I will admit, as a racing colour, you don't normally see purple in racing. I'm thinking of what, Simtech? That's purple, and that's about all I can remember.
Yeah, that Mazda might have been the first ever livery I did for AXR, and it's still going to this day.
Oh, that was dating back to GE Sport.
Yeah, GT Sport. I didn't do much racing for AXR and GT7. I think I did a Le Mans race with Rob in a Supra, and I obviously did my season of GTWEC, but I was definitely a lot more active on GT Sport for AXR.
I certainly remember you doing a bit more racing, indeed. So that livery is... How old do you reckon that livery is? 4, 5 years?
No, when did I would have joined AXR in 2022? I think, or 2021, so maybe 2-3 years old, that livery. I know it's gone through updates, every time it comes around and Rob wants it used again. I'll make tweaks and things that I think I can improve, and maybe add a bit more colour to different spots and change the sponsors up. And
so just a Red Bull.
Yeah, it doesn't really change. Maybe the sponsors change. Maybe there's a little more hint of colour in a certain position or something like that, but it doesn't really change.
Well, we are currently 8 minutes into this race, and Gaps currently 6.2 seconds the leader has, so he is a second a lap faster, completely, pretty much there.
Yeah, and he's done a 27.1, which is faster than he's done in qualifying.
However, like you pointed, Liam, the tyres absolutely shredding themselves so far in comparison. Let's see, how's that comparison to the other one? So that's about there. How's the other? Splash, yeah, so he's using his tyres a lot. But when you've got, like you said, the pace of that car, it doesn't really matter, does it? As long as he doesn't, spin it into a wall, he'll be fine.
Well, it depends on at what point will his wear start making him slower. How many extra stops is he going to have to do? I mean, his last lap was a 27.8, was this one a 27.3? Yeah, I was going to say, if it's the 27.8, if he's already dropping off that much, then it might be an issue, but... that lap was faster than anything anyone else has done.
a bit too slow on turn number 1. We've got so far Jay Ictonen in P2 with Ethan still chasing him down. The gap there 1 second. Last lap 28.3 to a 28.2. So a tenth here or there between the two Mercedes. Then we've got the Soul Supra in the field, which is pretty much right in the stand without a rear window. I have just noticed.
Without a rear wing.
Window.
Ah, yes. I did notice that when I was in the pit lane, or like on board another car. It was behind that Supra, and I was like,
Not
good thing
sure.
it's not realistic, or let's hope that person doesn't use cockpit camera and wants to look behind.
Yeah, regulations would not be having much fun with that one, I imagine. That'd be probably a penalty in a bit.
Certainly an interesting set of colours on that car. You know, bright green, black, and then a lot of the sponsors are red. It's certainly something.
Let's have a little look. And it's also that kind of polka dotty vibe. Which is...
Yeah, it almost feels like they just merged two liveries into one. I mean, it's not a bad looking car, it's just very funky.
Yeah, it is a peculiar one. And what would you say, outside of your liveries, is the best livery?
Oh, that's a question. There's something about that SBM car that is very clean that I really like. It's so simplistic. It's just orange, there's some white, there's some black, there's sponsors, and there's something about it. Yeah,
it gives me kind of a 1970s kind of vibe. Slightly, I'm just getting kind of, was it the... I'm trying to remember what the it's alcohol company. They had orange cars. That's the one. Which, to be fair, is on the front of the car.
GTM cars.
He's on the front of the car, actually, ironically, looking at it. So that might be kind of I presume that's the inspiration for it.
Probably, yes.
And of course, we have got, like we said, Ictonen's livery, which is being its two-tone livery, which shines different lighting conditions, which is always good. Then we've got the car of Rotary, which is, again, it's a nice livery, I will say. Our resident STD Ash made, of course, who does lots of liveries for other cars as well. And I think he's a very good designer, isn't he, Ash?
Oh, incredibly. I mean, I've raced many, many of his cars. I mean, throughout the leagues we've done, or team events, or... You know, when I did a 24-hour solo race for charity, he did the livery I raced in, you know. I've raced a lot of his liveries.
Certainly. Where would you rate this one in terms of Ash's designs?
I mean, Ash has done some very weird and wacky things. Some we cannot mention on stream.
No, we cannot mention some of them on stream.
But, yeah, I do like the livery on that Mercedes that he has done. You know, if you want a good livery, Ash is certainly the man to go to.
Yeah, certainly is. And talking of that car, it is closing up a little bit on the car ahead. Has he got any chance of making a move down into turn number 5? I'm going to have to guess no, but you never know on this game, to be fair. Some people do wacky dives. That's normally a dive I would make, actually. Ethan, a bit more smart than I am in terms of driving abilities. So, let's see. There's really only a couple of places on this circuit you can set a move up, though, isn't there? Turn number 1, turn 3, and really turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, obviously your big braking zones, like you say, turn 1, turn 4, turn 5. Then, you know, it's... If someone makes a mistake out of 5, you can get a run, you can try into the double lefts. It's not unheard of to see moves at these last 2 turns, but you basically need to be side by side, but... Yeah, your 3 main braking zones in the first half of the lap are your best opportunities. And
of course, in the slipstream, around about 7 tenths around this circuit. Well, around GT3 cars in general, I do believe. So he's definitely in the tow, but is he close enough? Has that Mercedes got enough run, or is he going to think about the long game? A little bit twitchy at turn number 1, but 3 tenths the gap. So if he can keep with him here, could get a good exit down to turn number 4. Or 3.
I believe it's 4.
Well, yeah, we could call it 3 or 4, because that straight's called turn 2 for some bizarre reason, which I still don't like.
Yeah, I think the slight right in the straight is 2, then the left, sort of before the braking zone, is 3. It's a bit like the American tracks. They seem... Oh, Ethan gets a penalty. but he should be fine. He's got
Yeah.
a second gap. But yeah, it's a bit like the American tracks. I think it's Road America is really bad for it. There's like corner 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B. So it's like there's 20 or so corners on that track, but according to their track map, there's about 11.
Yeah.
I think Laguna Seca does that as well slightly for some sectors. They've got like corner A and B.
Yeah, even getting a little bit closer to the rear end of the learner driver ahead of him there. I do find it quite amusing with the little learner badge, I will admit.
Yes, I did notice that in qualifying. Is Ethan going to drop out of the toe here? He's sort of on the brink of it.
Yeah, just about, but he seems to has a bit more pace around here so far. The tyres, even slightly more tyre wear, slightly more fuel as well, so presuming that he's pushing a little bit harder than the car ahead. And then, like we said, we got the three behind, and then we got the two Aston Martins currently bringing up the rear, but I think for a few seconds Ethan has not a chance to make a move right now. So let's go back to looking at liveries. So, like we said, we looked at Razda Joji, as I just can't pronounce that name. The green car livery. And we've got the two AXR liveries, which I do love the AXR livery. Purple light works. Then we've got Knockback's livery, Liam, which is very striking.
Yeah, there's you know, from the front it looks, you know, very clean. There's the silver with some black lines, a bit of red behind the grille, and then you go to the side, and then there's the little like PlayStation logos everywhere. There's blue and red and some design all over the rear window, and
the balls on the side as well.
Although the one thing I've noticed about it is there's not many sponsors on that car. Like there's basically none on the side of it. There's a couple on the bonnet, and that's about it. There's like nothing. There's a couple on the rear as well. None on the wing. They've got like their own logos on the wing and stuff, which is understandable. A lot of the teams here will do that. They'll put their own logos on it. But yeah, a couple of sponsors on the bonnet, a couple on the rear, and that's it. It's very sponsor bare.
Indeed, I will say, always a silver base is always that type of silver, always a lovely base colour for cars.
Yeah, it's not the type of colour I would ever really work with. I prefer like block colours, you know, like your blues, your reds, your yellows, like your oranges, etc. So second, third, and fourth have really sort of come back together.
Yeah, it seems they have. Good spot there, Liam. Let's see, again, no way down into here, 4/10 to gap, so they are kind of all towing each other right now, the Supra. No way through down there. And they've got the other Mercedes closing in as well. So it looks like a little bit of a train forming behind Ictonen there. So potentially struggling, or just matching his pace. Just does his own race. Doesn't need to push too hard. As long as he doesn't make a mistake or end up getting hit from the rear, and that's all that matters really in an endurance race like this.
Yeah, I would guess also, I mean, not that it's a huge amount, but by the fact he's saved a little more fuel, he might obviously be short shifting a little more, maybe a little bit of left and coast. He does also appear to be running traction control, which I don't recall seeing him run, or I've just never noticed it.
You can run traction control. It can save a bit of fuel, I guess. Well, you'd imagine. Would it? Should do.
I don't imagine so. I imagine modulating the throttle yourself rather than just going full throttle everywhere and letting the car do it for you. I think that would use more fuel, if anything. But yeah, maybe he's just doing some short shifting, some left and coast. But he's definitely conserving more fuel in tyres than Ethan, but Ethan seems to have a little pace advantage right now.
Yeah, has a little look there for a brief second, but again, not going to be making a dive through there behind him. The Supra still doesn't get a good exit, so kind of stuck in a little bit of a train right now, aren't we?
Yeah, and I mean, these guys are all, you know, I don't know many of them, but they are, well, I imagine by the time they're here, are smart drivers, you know. Ethan knows there's another 70 minutes of this race. We're not even a quarter of the way through. He doesn't need to go banzaiing in and potentially damaging his own car and ruining the race of Ictonen either. So, you know, there's time, there's pit stops, there could be rain. I mean, there appears to be some slightly grey clouds off in the distance beyond turn 1. Shame we can't have the weather radar up, but
You should surely you should be able to use the live timing radar if you back out quickly into the thing. I don't know if that works.
well, if it does, it's not showing any rain.
Right, so that presumes there's no rain. So if it rains, it's lied to us.
But that doesn't seem to show the future because it goes minus 60 minutes, minus 30 current. So I guess it's saying there has been no rain and there currently is no rain, but it doesn't seem to rule out there being no rain at all. Although Ethan has a good run here.
Yeah, he has
come back aboard with him.
2 tenths of a gap, but is there a way to make a cheeky dive down into turn number 3? He's going for the move down the inside. He goes, does he get the car stopped? Yes, he does. Has he got the gap on the exit? Yes, he has. But can the other car come through? Ethan gives a little bit of a block there, just say, no, you're not going back down the inside. Now he's got to keep it straight. Keep where he's going. Let's see. Is Icton going to go dive down the inside? But no, the other car of Raz might do it. But contact as well as the front hits the rip. And a little bit of a cheeky manoeuvre right there. But I think they just kind of met in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that one's worked perfectly for Ethan. He gets through and the 2 cars behind start squabbling and he's already got a 1 second gap. The weather, Rauda has been held up by Etkinen. Can he maybe now go and do something about Ethan? Because Ethan definitely seemed to have the pace over Etkinen. In fact, this has brought Fred into it and could bring Splash into the occasion for this podium fight.
Yeah, and certainly turning into a podium fight right now. Meanwhile, the leader is pretty much, well, he's literally a straight ahead, completely.
Yeah, look at his left rear tyre though. Always he's picked up a penalty. Not that that's going to do much to him, but
yes,
his left rear compared to everyone else is destroyed.
Indeed, but with a 16-second lead so far, can he pull that gap constantly?
I mean, you think with the state of that left rear, it's only going to be a couple of laps before we see him in. I imagine he must already have shifted his brake pads to the front to try and help counter that. Oh, as he's made a mistake out of 5 going into the gravel there. You think the brake bands has already gone forward. I mean, 16 seconds and 15 laps. Yes, they've all been fighting a bit, but you know, he seems to have anywhere up to about a second to laps of advantage.
I mean, what?
I would say over the race, yeah, he could maybe pull an extra pit stop or 2.
Excellent. Just dropped down another position. Has a 1 second time penalty. Behind him, Splash also has a half a second time penalty to his name. So that's a shame to see him dropping down at the field bit by bit. He had a good start, and now it's just starting to drop away for a little bit. But long race definitely is clouding over right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame that the weather radar only seems to tell us the past and not
the future.
What is, yeah, going to happen in the near future, because it's definitely going darker and it's starting to grey over, and some rain would make it interesting.
It certainly would. Unfortunately, we can't see the radar because the game's silly.
Yeah, you'd think if anyone should have it, it should be the commentators.
Yeah,
drivers, unless the team tell them. You know, in real motorsport, probably won't know what's happening with the rain, but yeah, it's gotten a bit darker, so maybe, I mean, we've still got 70 minutes to see if we get some rain.
Yeah, let's see. Is Ixton going to get past Splash again? Is he close? No, he's certainly not. Splash breaks very late into the corner. Does he get the car stopped? Yes, he does. And away he goes back on his way. And Splash, is a very good driver, I will say, on his day, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we raced against him for a while in the touring car league we do. I obviously worked with him a lot doing a lot of my stuff for AXR. I know he joined after me, but we did a fair few events together, and yeah, you know, AXR, you know, in terms of like numbers and whatnot, are a pretty small team, but they've definitely got some damn fast drivers. I mean, you know, they have Fred, Splash,
Joker.
Rob, who has been starting to kick my ass in our league. He suddenly decided he is the reincarnation of Ayrton Senna the last 2 months or so.
Race leader in.
You know? Yeah, that's
early.
gonna put him. Is he gonna stay ahead of the Astons? He's definitely gonna drop behind this pack.
Let's see where he is. He finally comes in now. That is early.
Yeah, that would suggest a 4 stop, whereas, you know,
Expecting, presumably Ethan goes to about 30? 30 laps, you reckon the rest of the field probably get out of these tyres at current rate?
Yeah, you'd think, because if he's pitting now, 23 4. Yeah, he's on for a 3-stop, and if everyone can make it to the half-hour mark, that is a 2-stop. I don't see them getting to the 45-minute mark for a 1-stop. Definitely not, especially with fuel.
No, the fuel, yeah. That's the kind of the Achilles heel right now, so the fuel. But I guess that does also mean that it can take a little bit less fuel in the car, means he can go even quicker per stint. So let's see if the strategy pays off. It's going to be that's a Michael Schumacher-esque strategy he's on right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that one French Grand Prix where he did 4 stops.
2002, I think it was.
2000 and something, I think. One thing I've just noticed is Rauda in second. He has a lot more wear on his front tyres than everyone else, particularly his front right. So I'm wondering how they've got that car set up, because they are chewing through front tyres.
Front heavy car potentially might have more air on the front than the rear. Lots of things. I don't really know how setups work on this game.
Ekman goes through on splash into turn 1.
Yeah. Let's see low on the exit. That Mazda's got a lot of grunt. Has it got... He's got the sound as well, but has it got anything to make a dive back past there? You'd imagine not from here.
No, not from this distance. I mean, that Mazda might have the sound, but I feel like 90 minutes of listening to a rotary screaming would do my head in.
Yeah, me and Ethan and Lewis for the 24 hours were nearly going to go in the 787B when we did that at Fuji. Lewis put his foot down and wanted a Porsche, so we went to Porsche. Predictably.
That race gives me PTSD. I planned on napping. Rob said no. I think I was to do the last stint and I did like the second or third, so I was like, alright, I've got some time, I can nap. And then Rob was like, actually no, can you commentate this stint? So I was like, wouldn't have had a chance to nap. So I literally stayed up for about 30 hours. By the time I'd finished driving a Sauber C9 around Fuji. You can imagine I was about a second a lap slower in that second thing because I just didn't care and was too tired.
I can't remember that
I just wanted it to be done.
Race. Second and third battling on the grid right now. Lap 19 of about 80 laps, I'm saying, kind of ish, a bit more than 80 laps.
I mean, we're about to be a third of the way in on about the 30th minute, so I'd say we're probably close to 70.
But maps isn't the strong point, is it? Let's be fair. Let's see.
In about 3 minutes, we'll be about lap 22-ish, so yeah, about 65-ish laps if my calculations are correct.
Oh, Fred having a little look. That was audacious.
I'm not even sure that was an attempt at a move. That might have been one of those, you know, where you brake at your point and the car heads or catch it and you kind of have to make it into an attempted overtake.
I must say, I've just spotted the rear diffuser's got something. I presume that's just because it's not the sponsor. He hasn't clipped it properly. That's going to annoy me if that's happened on that Supra. The Supra that's currently side by side into the last two corners. Is Freddy going to try around the outside there? It's going to be brave. I think he's going to do it. He might get the cutback low up the inside. Textbook little move. And through he goes then. So kind of gave him the dummy and gets a half. Yeah. So on the rear diffuser of this car, Liam.
Yeah, I see it now. I guess they've not done the limit angle and limit depth correctly. It's clipped onto like every single strafe of the diffuser.
Slightly going to annoy me. That one. I'll let them off.
Something else to annoy you. That little logo that looks like an A on the back of the car, that's also gone through.
Oh, he's going back up the inside low. And he get the car stopped. No, Fred's gone too deep low, has he? No, he hasn't. Really managed to get that brake lay.
A visual display of the tyre wear difference between these two cars. How much more sort of balanced Fred's is. I mean, he's using the left rear. Oh, he's gone a bit hot into 5, but he should be fine.
both of these
Whereas,
drivers.
Rauda's used a lot more of his front tyres.
And then you got the Mercedes behind, which is using a bit less front, but the same amount of rear in splashes. Like we're saying, but these two cars are going to presumably just jump ahead of them, with these two getting the half a second penalties.
Yeah, Fred might be okay.
This could be a bit close into the corner. Let's see, up the inside goes one, up the inside goes two. Do they all make it through on the exit? Yes, they do. And this is getting a little bit close for comfort, and how they've all managed to get through the last two corners without a monumental shunt, I don't know.
Yeah, Fred got a little, certainly on my end, it looked like he got a bit sideways in the penultimate corner, and that sort of concertinaed everyone up and caught them out, but they all seem to have gotten away with it. Oh, was, I don't know if Splash was hit into turn one there or not, but...
Very close if it was. Let's see. Can Igtonen get back ahead of Fred, dude? He's got the toe. We know that Mercedes seems to be very slippy in a straight line as well as Severus. I agree. In the chat there, there's someone joined the lobby a little bit early or a little bit too late.
Or it's a complete stranger.
Normally
he
that.
picked himself up a penalty too.
The current race leader, 6.5 seconds. Where, meanwhile, is the fellow driver of AXR? He is currently just coming onto the back of this train ahead of him. And he's probably hoping, and, well, by the time he gets there, these guys are all going to peel off for their first pit stops. Not for tyres, but for fuel.
Yeah, it seems, you know, even though the tyre wear is quite high, I mean, certainly in some cars, I mean, that Toyota has been using them. Ethan's is a little worse than the cars behind, but nothing terrible. It would definitely seem to be fuel limited, although only just. It seems like the tyres are going to be about dead, as a couple of them have peeled into the pits.
Yeah, third, fourth and fifth peel in then, so pit stop battles. Are we going to see some under-fuelings just to try and get ahead right now, or are we going to play the long game and try and do some strategies later on? Let's see.
So not only has Rauda got worse tyres, he has 7% less fuel in the cars around, so that's going to be almost a second extra lost in the pits.
Take on some new fuel. Who's going to get out ahead then? So it was Igtonen was leading this train of cars in. Is he leading it out? Yes, he is. Splash in 6th and ahead. So they all remain pretty much exactly, I believe, how they came in.
Yeah, and Rauda not only had less to start with, but he's also had to put more in because he had less to start with. So he's lost 2.5 seconds to these guys just through tyre and fuel use.
And now the critical thing, Liam, is now they've pitted, they've got the fresh tyres for a few bits. Can they get the undercut now ahead of the cars ahead? Is Fred going to be caught out here on those worn, well, slightly worn tyres? The front right isn't worn at all, actually, to be fair.
No, it's going to be your front left of these last two corners.
Does he pit? Yes, he does. So does Ethan. A very tricky pit lane entry, I will say. It's very easy. I suppose not on this game because it does just automatically drag you in, but on other games it's a very easy pit lane just to go into the wall if you're not concentrating properly.
Yes, it's very narrow, very bumpy. It's got some undulation. It's pretty easy to find yourself dragged into the outside wall on the entry.
It's been as well on the exit as well. Not an easy one, but into your race lead now. And has a... What's the gap then? So it was about 16 seconds last time. We have Luke Mitchell in between them. Let's see. And actually kind of curious where Freddu's going to come out on all of this. He comes out the pit in turn 1. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be ahead here. It's going to be awfully close down in turn 4. And Igtonen gets ahead. What about Splash?
I feel like he might bump draft or just leave Fred alone there. They'll be communicating, yep, he lefts off. He knows Fred's got a 1 lap tyre advantage, and they seem to be close on pace. There's no point fighting. They'd rather try and get Ekkonen and maybe later in the race drag themselves back towards Ethan.
Yeah, indeed. So 22 seconds now, the lead between first and third position, which is the net second place so far in the order. Don't forget, Billy Ray. Stint 2 will be a twilight race, which is going to be thoroughly entertaining. So me and Liam don't get to see anything, because basically what's going to happen in that one. Because I did practice with Rob earlier on, Liam. It's dark. It's very dark.
So we're just going to be able to go out, and there's some headlights.
Yes.
There's some more headlights. There's
pretty
some
much
other headlights. That headlights are going to overtake on those headlights.
And those headlights seem to be going off the road.
You're not driving.
Ah, yeah. I mean, to be fair, no, if I was driving here, I don't want to know how many penalties I'd be getting.
You'd set a record.
Yeah, twice a lap. 3 times a lap, maybe. It'll probably get reset, because you can get reset really randomly on this track if you go a little bit too wide in 1 or 2 corners. Let's see.
I'm interested in Luke staying out still. He's past the 2-stop mark, but you know there's 11 minutes to go to the 1-stop mark.
And he's not doing that on the field.
He's not doing that.
Yeah. I guess he does like these longer strategies. I mean, the tyres are... The rear's taking a bit of battering, but the first time this season, I believe it's the fuel that's been an issue more than the tyres, which is a nice change, I guess. Unless you're Ect, who is equally burning both up at the same time. But I mean, he's got now... What is it? A pit stop gap around here is, what we saying, about...
Well,
40...
he was about 16, 17 ahead, and he came out about 14 behind, so about 30 to 35 seconds-ish.
He's saying 27.9 that lap time, and we're comparing that to what Ethan's first lap time is going to be, presuming about a mid-28, I'm presuming, for Ethan. That seems to be in his pace most of the way through this stint. Across the line right now, 28.6 of the first lap, so 6/10 gap as Luke Mitchell does finally peel into that pit lane on lap 24, coming on to lap 25. That's going to drop him right to the back of the grid, and by some margin, I believe.
Yeah, you think going that long is only going to let everyone stay ahead. Well, knockback. He must have pitted at some point because he's got about a third of a tank of fuel. Has absolutely chewed through his tyres.
Or have we?
Maybe he's going for a 3-stop.
Yeah. Must have pitted a long time ago then, because halfway through those tyres, he must have came in.
Well, lap 16 was a 145 and lap 17 was a 137, so I'm guessing he's come in at the end of 16.
So I'm wondering...
If that's the case, that's a lot of tyre usage for 9 laps.
Or has he not changed the tyres?
Maybe. That might be the case.
But then that would
be
make...
an interesting choice.
Yeah, would make sense, I guess, because those tyres, I mean, would be around there on this time. So is he gone for just a fuel stop? Or is he just not stopped? And he has to have stopped because there's the P, meaning he had pitted.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a very weird... His tyres look slightly too new to have not pitted, but they also look old enough.
I don't know.
It's like, yeah, they've been on for a while. So I don't know. I guess we missed something in his stop, but it seems a bit odd.
25 seconds the race leader now has. Is there any battling going on? We've still got, well, the AXR drivers, but they are expectedly not going to battle, which is fair. They don't have to. No, would love to see them battling.
Yeah, if anything's going to change, it'll just be Fred letting Splash go. And he thinks he has a better chance of getting and passing Ickinen.
Yeah, they do not want to trip over each other. That would be the last thing they do. So, interesting thing about this circuit.
Very red and shiny.
Yes, more shiny than it currently is, and the controller probably get broken. These controllers cost a lot.
Yes.
60 quid. You would know. You've spent.
I'm on about my 5th controller from the
Yes.
Usually for me, it's either the buttons just stop working or the microphone jack just stops working.
Yeah, so now then you got a new one and then realised you didn't plug your mic in properly.
Yes, I did do that.
That was an interesting game of Call of Duty Zombies that time.
Not my best moment.
No, it wasn't your best moment. So, fun fact about this circuit, by the way, the first track on this thing, 1969, it opened, which was pretty much around about the guess I had. So I'll give myself a pat on the back for that one, because I was fully expecting it to be completely wrong.
I mean, I couldn't tell you when tracks opened.
No, neither could I half the time, but
I can tell you a lot about racetracks and how to drive them and whatnot. I couldn't tell you when they opened, how long they are, etc. Apart from obviously the infamous ones like Le Mans and Nürburgring.
Oh, for a second, a little bit of a move then. Track's undergone a few changes, of course, in its history. The ones aforementioned we mentioned, the original layout, which was between 1969 and pretty much remained mostly unchanged all the way up until around about 1980, the late 80s into the slight early 90s, of course, when around about between 95 and 97, this new layout was created, which I believe is made by Herman Tilke. I believe it is.
You can just presume most racetracks nowadays are made by Herman Tilke.
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, most of them are owned by Herman Tilke. Of course, the track remained open up until 2004, and then it closed. It didn't exist anymore in 2004. Then it was brought by someone called who was that? It was some Austrian guy. No idea who that was.
I mean, that's a very wide window.
Someone called District Mateschitz. So I believe it's actually isn't Austrian. I think he's German, actually. Is he German or is he Austrian? Well, I know he's not alive anymore. Is he German?
I'm not sure dead is his nationality.
He's Austrian.
I couldn't tell you. I would guess he is Austrian considering he was like the founder of Red Bull, and Red Bull is, Austrian.
Yeah, you would imagine that.
Yeah, otherwise a German anthem would play whenever Max wins 20 times a season.
Which, to be fair, would be a bit more enjoyable than listening to the Dutch anthem play 20 times a season, because it's a bit overused now. Would like to...
It's better than listening to the British one, because the British one is awful.
It is, I will admit. It is. It's very boring. I prefer the Italian. Always give us the Italian anthem. It's the most happiest anthem in the world.
Track has gone very dark, and the clouds have gone very dark too.
Yeah. Now,
if there's no rain on the way, then I'm very surprised, because it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, certainly no rain currently falling from the sky, but maybe some falling would do. But of course, back to what I was saying. Of course, the A1 GP between 1996 and 2004, in which case then afterwards it was brought by the lovely Red Bull company, turned into the Red Bull Ring in 2011, and of course has hosted many races since. Of course, got back into F1 in 2014. It's his 10th year back, and that just made me feel really old all of a sudden.
Yeah, I remember when it came back, I was very excited because, I was only a kid when this track stopped being used. I was only just getting into F1. And I remember it well because I remember Felipe Massa took pole for Williams in 2014. That was basically like the first non-Mercedes pole of the season.
That was the first pole for Williams as well since 2012, of course, Maldonado, which was mainly because someone got a penalty. But the one before that, though, Nico Hülkenberg, back in Brazil 2010.
Yeah, Nico was, and still is, rather good at mixed condition races. Anytime it's wet,
Apart from...
If you exclude that one lap in Germany 2019, he was legitimately running in a podium place on pure pace in the rain.
Until he wasn't.
The rain was Hülkenberg.
But that race was a lottery.
As a Renault fan and someone who really liked Nico Hülkenberg and still does, that was rather heartbreaking.
Yeah, well, I do love Hülkenberg a lot. He's one of my favourite... I wouldn't say he's my favourite driver. He's probably my... He's one of those drivers that you just love.
Yeah, you don't actively support them, but you want them to do well.
Yeah.
There's a few for me like that. I mean, naturally for me, I'm going to gravitate towards Fernando Alonso and whoever's driving an Alpine, apart from Ocon.
Yes, we a history of Liam doesn't like Ocon much.
No, if it was up to me, he wouldn't be in the team anymore.
No, he's aggressive, though he's doing better than Gasly right now, which is slightly surprising.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 4-0 to Ocon now in qualifying, and I mean, it's not even like it's huge margins. I mean, the field, I think in Q1 was spread by about 1.2 seconds. I mean, if we were 1.2 seconds off Mercedes, say back in like 2018, 2019, we'd have been like the third fastest team.
Yeah, it just shows how the regulations worked, and yet everyone's still complaining because you can't win.
I mean, it never bothers me that Max wins all the time. As long as we get some good racing, some action, some drama, I don't care who wins. I don't care if Max wins every race of the season as long as the race is interesting, which admittedly they haven't been so far, and I don't expect Suzuka tomorrow to be, because I don't think that track is very good for racing.
No,
I think it provides... I couldn't tell you the last good Japanese Grand Prix. Well, I can, but it was at Fuji.
Yeah, well, yes. Which was also wet, very wet. I think both seasons, was it 2008 was wet? I think it was just 2007 was wet.
2007 was wet. 2008 was dry.
That was
because
Alonso
won that race, because I remember the Ferraris got past Hamilton at the start in 2008, and he got rather desperate and banzaied into turn 1 and took about 5 or 6 cars off with him.
Yeah, Hamilton's racecraft back then was questionable. Not like anything's changed, but
you could definitely argue it's still questionable now.
Yeah.
He loves a crash, especially into Piastri nowadays.
used to be all that one move a couple of years ago of Alonso at Spa, which still boils my blood slightly.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of backlash initially for Alonso on that, and then people saw replays and they're like, actually, yeah, Hamilton's just turned completely in. I mean, he obviously had his instance with Massa in 2011. He loved to crash into Albon when he was in the Red Bull. He's had some crashes. I think he's had 3 crashes with Piastri.
And we had, what was it, Monza? We had
Vegas. I think they had 1 this season.
Yeah, was it Australia? Bahrain
or Saudi? Saudi.
Saudi.
They forced him off at turn 1.
Yes, that's the one.
And they touched. Yeah, we are getting a touch sidetracked because although
Not a lot of
Ekman and
action.
Fred are kind of close, they're not really fighting. Fred's just sort of sitting there. I mean, Splash has slightly dropped out of, I was about to say DRS there. Maybe we need DRS.
That would
Dropped
be
out of Splash
entertaining. Can you imagine DRS and GT3? That would be. Well, I mean, I suppose they could technically. I mean, I don't want that happening.
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of road cars that have DRS. I mean, we've obviously got the
DTMs did
11.
back in the day.
We wouldn't know because we never get anything in this game.
No.
We never get race cars.
I do remember I was in Project Cars 2, or was it Project Cars 1? They had one of the Mercedes. If it's Project Cars 1, they had one of the DTM cars. They had DRS.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's road cars in this that have DRS. I mean, obviously you've got the overtake function in some cars, particularly like the Super Formulas, because, I mean, the game doesn't allow us to control our own hybrid deployment for, you know, LMP cars or VGT cars or whatever has it,
Which
is
ruins them.
slightly annoying. Yeah, I wish we could choose our deployment ourselves. I mean, if you want to have it on a manual deployment, let people do that, but also give people the choice to or manually deploy it themselves. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see if real-life GT cars ended up having some sort of DRS or something, or some sort of overtaking aid in the future. I mean, most series seem to have something gimmicky, whether it was Formula E with its fan boost, or oh god, what's it called? Attack mode, where they have to go around the outside of a corner.
Yes. Charge the battery up a bit more, or something.
Yeah, I mean, most series seem to have some sort of gimmicky thing, and I mean, generally GT cars have stayed away from that, but you mean, you know, how long until they have some sort of ERS systems or
Hybrids.
yeah, some sort of DRS or something like that. I mean, you'd think sticking ERS in these cars would be the easiest thing to do, make it like a push-to-pass type system.
Yeah, which could be quite fun, but of course then you've got to...
You do ruin the purest
And
aspect.
then,
You
of
know,
course, the
obviously-
cost goes up massively, which we don't want.
British touring cars obviously went the way of going for hybrid instead of success ballast, and it was met with a lot of criticism at first.
And still is pretty much from every time I see a chat, it doesn't work.
Yes, I remember the first season of the hybrids and British touring cars. Half the times they'd just be like, yeah, the hybrid just doesn't work at all, so they're just lumping around a massive battery and getting no power.
And of course, I think, are they sticking with the hybrids, the thing still, or are they planning to get rid of it? I think they were getting rid of it, weren't they?
Oh god, I couldn't tell you.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, honestly. I don't really follow BTCC much in the off-season. I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, Jade Edwards is announced, I'm so excited.
Adam Piper, as a driver we know, would be excited.
Racing. Admittedly, BTCC seems to be in a little bit of trouble with the depleted fields and obviously the loss of the manufacturer backing of, you know, the likes of Honda.
It could be worse.
Well, I mean, you could.
It's not 2001.
There's nothing worse than that.
No, it's not 2001 BTCC either, which is a good thing.
Yeah, when there was like 8 cars.
Yeah, that was a vibe.
Yeah, but one of them was a 406, so I allow it because it looked good.
It did look good, yes, from pictures. And then I, for some reason, thought they were 2 cars with BMWs, which they very much weren't. And
you know, it was basically just Peugeots and Seats back then.
And,
yeah, Splash has caught back up to these two.
yeah, it's a bit of action.
They're just not fighting.
No.
We've had these 3 in a line, and I guess Rauda has been sort of there or thereabouts, setting at 2.5 seconds back, but they're not fighting. Whether that's because they can't, whether Fred doesn't just have enough to get there, or whether he just doesn't want to fight right now, whether he wants to use Ekkonen to save fuel or anything like that. He does have better fuel. I mean, obviously he pitted a lap later.
We should...
I think we're going to see Ekkonen.
Yes, yes, I was about to say that. Gone.
His tyres are screaming no more. 2 more laps and that left rear has gone. If you could get punctures on this game, he'd be close to it.
If this was Lewis Hamilton, he would be asking Bonner that his tyres are gone, but we don't get it anymore. I don't even think Bono's Lewis Hamilton. I haven't heard him for ages. He might be still.
He was, because he was rather surprised at Hamilton's sudden engine failure in Australia.
Ah.
And all the talks of is he going to follow him to Ferrari or not.
God, can you imagine Lewis Hamilton dealing with Charles Leclerc? Wow. Charles Leclerc's engineer is the entertaining one. Because they would just say, I'll let you know.
Ferrari like to do this thing where every few years they just produce an absolute dog of a car, so it wouldn't shock me if in 2025, you know, Hamilton moves to Ferrari and suddenly Mercedes are better than Ferrari.
That would be just peak. I know Alonso would be eating that one up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 2014 Ferrari that Alonso had was horrific. The 2012 one should not have been anywhere near a title fight, but was. The 2011 one won 1 race,
Right.
and it took a slow Red Bull stop, although he might have won without it anyway.
Yeah.
And the 2013 was okay for like the first 6 or 7 races, and then
Disappeared.
Red Bull just outdeveloped everyone.
Yes, because
and
Red Bull
9 wins in a row.
Yes. Back when 9 wins in a row was a feat, now someone's done it pretty much twice.
Max has done
2 10s in a row.
I think if it wasn't for Singapore, he'd have been, what, 21 wins in a row?
Yeah.
Which would have been, that is never being beat again.
No, that legitimately would never get beaten again. In fact, I don't think that probably can really be beaten again to get 30 in a row. Well, we said that about Val's 9. No, did we? No, really, actually. Val's 9 was also Schumacher's 9, wasn't it?
Pass.
Yeah, fair enough. Let that. Race leaders staying out a bit longer. This is getting a little bit. He's not.
No way he's trying to get to the 60
well,
minute mark.
He can't. He literally can't get there.
Oh, true. Yeah, his fuel. This
So
must be his last lap.
he's gonna have to. I mean, he can. The thing is, he has got an extra stop on hand. The issue is the cars like Ethan, etc., they're going to go for another 5, 6, 7 laps, probably. Get to just past the hour, about 1 hour, 5 minutes, and then just go to the end.
Yeah, Ethan's probably sitting there seeing, or I don't know if anyone's updating him, of X tyre wear.
Well,
or
Lewis
he
isn't
watches
there.
the stream back, he'll see X tyre wear and think, how the hell is he doing a 28.0 on those tyres when I think 28.0 is the fastest of Ethan's stint, or this whole race so far?
It is, which is...
He basically has 3 tyres and he's going as fast as Ethan's fastest lap. And they're all probably sitting there thinking, how the hell is he doing that?
This is a beautiful drive, I will say. Oh, the rear end just is not planted whatsoever. Meanwhile, is there any battle going on between the... No, there isn't.
No, they're all just sitting about half a second apart from each other. They're all just in a train.
Actually, in the pit lane he comes. Kind of forced him because he was sideways into the pit lane. But in he comes because he has no fuel left. I'm pretty certain 1 litre, yeah. The question is, has he got the gap?
I think he'll probably come out behind Ethan by a couple of seconds.
So Ethan's
If
just
my maths were right from stint 1.
coming through the last 2 corners right now. There goes the tyres, down goes the fuel, in it goes, out the last corner. He will get ahead, but he's coming out now. He's going to come out ahead of him.
Yeah, he's gone for it.
A very small amount of fuel, so he's definitely doing another pit stop, which we suspected anyway, but... Yeah, if he'd put the full tank in, he would have been behind Ethan.
1 second penalty.
Yeah, not going to do much to his race at this point. I mean, he has since
The car
started
behind.
pulled about another 2 seconds to Ekkinen.
Yeah, he's 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got the other Finnish driver a little bit further back, and then we got the 2 Aston Martins bring up the rear. This is turning into a stellar performance. So no matter what happens, unless something catastrophically fails for him, he's won this race. Well, this stint at least, because he could do another stop and come out ahead of Ethan now still anyway.
Yeah, you'd think you'd need some major misfortune, whether that be a disconnect or something happening, presuming they're on wheel with their wheel, to stop him at this point.
Yeah, just drive his own race, try and set some even faster laps, and just go for it now, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got low fuel. He's obviously not going to go super long in this stint.
About
so I suspect
15
we'll probably
laps.
see him in back around, well, if he's splitting up evenly, about the 75-minute mark, unless he wants to go a bit longer in this one and have as little fuel in for the last one as possible to go for maybe try and get a 26.
Right,
Which
he's
he can
only
maybe do on
10th
this
off.
stint since he got half a tank.
Yeah, you'd presume so, which would be even more beautiful because in qualifying he did was it either
23, I recall.
yeah.
Which he's already beat. He beat that on like lap 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know,
believe.
which is just stunning driving.
Oh, Fred's going for an Ekkinen.
Has he got the car up the inside enough? No. Has he got the grip on the outside? No. Are they going to bump draft each other? Yeah, you are. Bit of teamwork. Now, which way are you going to go? Are you going to dive down the inside, leave it late? Now go for it. Dive up the inside, late brake, get the car stopped. Don't go too deep and let him undercut you. You've done that. Has he got anything on the exit? Not quite.
At least he does have the peace of mind that he can do this and know that Splash isn't gonna, be, what anyone else would do and try and be opportunistic from this. He will sit there and try and help Fred, whether it's bump draft him or just not put him off in his fight.
You would have I'd almost say, would you reckon they'd switch? But is he going to try and surely not into this corner, Fred? Don't do it. Oh, that's brave, and that's going to compromise both of you, but like you said, Splash isn't going to fight. I wouldn't have done that if I would have been Fred in that. Well, I absolutely would have done that if I was Fred, actually.
Oh, Rauda is in.
No damage.
Barely.
Making
Tyres aren't awful, he's still got about a quarter of a tank of fuel.
So he's going for an undercut then.
Yeah, I guess that's what he thinks is best, but considering he's got worse tyre and fuel wear than everyone else, I would think he would want to go long.
Again, Fred can't get the speed there, so I'm starting to wonder, and I don't think they will, but would switching the drivers around and having Splash have an attack for a few laps be beneficial?
I mean, it might be being discussed. There's
They do party together, I think, don't they?
yes, them and Rob, and if someone else is driving in the second stint, will be talking. So they'll be communicating whether they do want to maybe do a swap. I mean, Fred pitted later, but Splash has better front tyres, but his right rear is a little worse.
Yeah, ever so slightly.
So clearly that's just an aspect of the Mazda that eats the rear tyres. I suppose it is mid-engine, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is. I don't know.
It's I've got a lot of experience with GR3 cars in this game. That's not one I've ever really driven. I mean, the only time I've ever driven it is when there was a weekly time trial around Trial Mountain, I recall. I drove it there and that was about it.
Splash has pitted then, so he's going to cover off Radchoja. I'm pretty certain I've pronounced different every time I've tried to say his name so far.
Yeah, I've just resorted to saying Rauda.
Yeah, I might just do that as well. Rauda. Let's see, so fuel goes in about half a tank of fuel, just a little bit over. That's a bit too much fuel. Splash. That's
no,
gonna.
He's got to do a full half hour, so I'm not surprised he's put that much in.
Is that a bit too much?
I'd say that seems about right to me.
Oh, well, he's got less fuel than Radu. It's easier just to pronounce it Oppa. Okay, thanks, Rob. We'll just call him Oppa.
Oppa Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
That was really cringe, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Rob, I've said a bad thing. Can I just not do Stream 2, please?
No. It's not stream 2. It's going to just be... I don't know. Are we starting another stream, or do we just keep this stream going up?
Just keep this one going.
Might as well.
We just, like... I mean, Rob basically makes people do things for him for free, so there's no way I'm getting out of the next stint.
No. So we'll just keep it going. As we look up the field, Ethan with a 6.6 second lead ahead of Lee's 2, which are going to be stopping in the next... They've got to be stopping the next lap or two. And the next round.
I don't know how you expect me to do the next round, Rob, when I'm not even going to be in the continent.
Bring the PS5 in it.
I'm not taking the PlayStation.
McEwen live from America.
It's alright, I've gone to America for 3 weeks. Let me just take my PlayStation and do some commentary.
You start to wonder. Do you reckon Splash is going to come out of Lee's 2 potentially with American accent? Oh God!
I'm not doing an American accent. Absolutely not. It would be worse than Rob's attempt at a Scottish accent, which I unfortunately had to put up with for 2 trips.
Oh dear!
I've had to hear Rob do Scottish accent. But yeah, I think it could be close to Splash. I mean, he was on the tail of them. He's going to have a lap or 2 of undercut. I think certainly Ekinen is going to be in this lap. Maybe Fred could stretch another.
I think they're both going to follow each other here.
No,
Right, in comes Fred. So he's done the undercut on Ichtonen, but has Ichtonen's got the pace? He's setting what 28.8 that lap. So all eyes are going to be currently on what Splash can do, and well, he's 4 tenths down, but I don't know what his fastest lap is.
Probably a low 28, maybe a 0.2, 0.3, I'd guess.
So
he's got 28.2 on lap 33, and that's not showing as his best. So 0.2, 0.1, something like that.
So his current lap, that's what I'm going to keep the delta looking at. So out comes Fred. So Fred's going to come out way ahead. That's surprisingly far ahead.
Yeah, I guess Fred,
Has
not
the
so petting later, had to take less fuel.
Yeah, they've got exactly the same amount of fuel, literally. So, can Ictonen do anything at 28.7 that last lap? So, Ictonen's last was a 28.8, and presumably he's going to be stopping. Well, he has to stop this lap because he's got about 2 litres, if that, in the cup. And he comes, remember,
Yeah,
of course.
not a lot.
Oh, that's not how you do that. And just about gets it back in. Gets it all squiggly on the grass. 1 litre of fuel. In comes Ethan as well with 8 litres. Has he got enough gap, is what I'm wondering. Let us see. Tyres go on, down he comes, fuel goes in. He needs to be coming out right about now, otherwise he's going to be in a bit of trouble here. Takes a bit more fuel in. This is going to be awfully close with Fred. Fred should get ahead coming out of this corner. He'll have the grunt down the straight. Splash coming up as well. They're going to be side by side then up the hill. Icton on the inside, Fred Dude on the outside. Are we going to see a little dive up the inside? He slots him behind for now. So holds the line. Does he get a good X out of here though? Down into turn number 4. Does not get a good X out of that one. So you would have it to guess no, Liam.
No, it seems Fred's undercut has worked nicely, although naturally he is going to have 1 lap worse tyres for this whole stint. He does have a little less fuel, so I don't know if Ekkonen's slightly overfueled or he uses more fuel, but I guess maybe he's just been a little more safe. But then, is Fred maybe going to try and back Ekkonen into Splash? Is Fred just going to do his own thing?
Lots of unknowns to come in this race. We are on lap 44 so far with, so we're about 66, like you said, about that, Liam, so you would have been correct.
Yeah, I'd say sort of 60 to 65, so I think I'm going to be about right.
Here they come, and how big's the gap to the race leader? 41.5 seconds so far.
Yeah, pretty dominant, pretty comfortable from Ek.
And with 1 stop to go in this race, but he's just on the bubble of a 26.
Yeah, if he doesn't get it this stint, he should get it next, when he'll have even less fuel. You know, we expect to see him in with maybe 15 minutes to go or so. But he'll have very little fuel, I'm sure he'll take tyres.
Ethan currently running his own race, respectable so far P2, with a little bit of way to go, so another podium for the Mercedes team, whilst of course last week the other driver of Mr. Lewis, he decided to get on the bad books, Liam.
That sounds like Lewis.
He did. Do you know what he did? Do you know what he did? That thing that he did that one time at the Nordschleife a few times, crashing and getting damaged really early or really late.
Yeah, he's quite good at crashing. He's fast, but he's very good at crashing.
Whilst I am slow and very good at crashing.
Yes, I remember the first 24-hour race Rob ever did. I was part of that, what is now FTR team, and we won. But we had about nearly a lap's lead, and Lewis crashed during the final stint, and we were just sitting there thinking, for the love of God, please just keep it on the track. Do not crash it.
Just about managed to, you won it, I think, didn't you, as well, still?
Yes, we won by, I think, about 4.5 minutes.
Ah.
And then I ended up going around the real Nordschleife with Rob. He got very angry.
Which was more stressful, though? Watching Lewis or being in a car with Rob?
Being in the car with Rob, because if he makes a mistake, we're in a wall. If Lewis makes a mistake, I just have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I had to deal with a bright red, angry Rob, angry at bikers for falling off. and ruining his fast laps.
Ah, yes, I remember the story of the
Yes.
incident.
We got out that car after what Rob's lap was ruined by a biker falling off, and he slammed his door so hard it probably was on the Richter scale.
Ah. Was that the reason there was an earthquake in New York?
Probably. It was probably just eventually the ripple of Rob's door slamming.
Indeed. As you could tell, not a lot of action currently, again.
No, Splash has started creeping towards Itkinen.
Second gap. 7/10 between Fred and him as well, and like we said, the gap up front opening up. We'll have a little look down the field as well. So we've got Opa down in 6th, then we've got Luke Mitchell in 7th, Knockback in 8th as well, bringing up the rear of the field.
Yeah, Knockback, who has now been lapped. I think Luke Mitchell's not a million miles from being lapped. He's about 10 seconds up the road.
And X, who should be in the pit lane in the next 3 to 4 laps, I believe. Does improve again.
Not enough for 26 though. I'm sure he's probably so far ahead. The only thing keeping him entertained is trying to get that 26.
Yeah, that would be. I would love to be able to do 26s around here. Or 27s, like this low 27s. If I was doing that, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've even seen, or not that I've noticed anyway, anyone even do a 27, and he's threatening to do a 26.
Yeah. Just looking through the field, and I mean, everyone else's laps so far are 29, 30, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 27-0.
Yeah, it's pretty dominant. I mean, lap 48, 45-second lead. Admittedly, that is going to come down because he has to stop again, albeit it should be a pretty short stop.
From here, actually.
But he should lose somewhere around the region of 20 seconds or so.
Does have names of racing drivers on the side of the car as well, it would appear. Looking at, I saw Nicky Lauder's name, Marcus Rinkerhock as well. With a few that you can spot on the side of it. Graham something, I don't know if it's Graham Hill or another Graham. It's kind of actually hard to spot.
Maybe it's Ethan Graham.
Oh god, it's just got his name on the side of the car. Jackie X, Bobby, right, what's Gerhard Berger, Jürgen something, Derek Bell, Leopard von Bayer.
I'm not even sure how the hell you're seeing this. My eyes are not good enough to see this.
You got Jochen Stockt on there as well. We've got Roland Ratzenberger on there. Is on the other side? Has it got anything else? And that's the same thing on the other side.
I'm sure the roof is full of them too. That'll be what all the little white and black things are.
Yeah, they are names. Just only noticed it through there. We go on the outside there. You can just say Graham Hill. So name spotting. There we go. So all of them being, well, racing drivers. Probably most of them being F1 drivers. He is up by 0.001. That's not going to help. The bit squiggle on the outside. And he's really going for the Michael Schumacher strategy today. I mean, he's German.
Yeah, seems
Apt.
very aggressive. He's
And he comes.
in this lap.
So bang on the money.
Possibly a short stop, and then
We got 18 minutes to go. So it'll come out around about a 20-second lead still anyway.
yeah, he should have something around 20 plus seconds.
The mechanics ready and rating. Up goes the jacks, of course, hydraulic jacks in these cars. As they push the car up, in goes the fuel, down goes the jacks. And then weigh about half a tank of fuel, slightly over. He's put a bit more fuel there, a bit more fuel than you'd imagine, but I suppose keep it safe, I guess. Doesn't need to underfuel it. A clever thing to do. Out he comes, and what's that gap? It's about 20 seconds, I say there.
Might be even more than that.
33, 31, 30. It's going to drop down. Uh, 19. Yeah, 19 seconds. 20 seconds. So there we go.
So we lost about 28 seconds in that stop. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a full length pit stop, you're losing about 33, 34.
So there we go. We now know how much a fuel pit stop is. Back to talking of things. The two AXR drivers together. Are we going to see a switch finally? No. I tell you what, they kind of got to get on with it a little bit though, because behind them, Oppa is catching.
Did we see Ekkinen pass Fred?
No.
I don't recall if we saw Ekkinen pass Fred, and he's now nearly a second ahead. I mean,
we were
Fred
kind
did
of...
have a 29.7 last lap, so I don't know if he got a penalty or a mistake or something like that.
29.
But we're having a repeat of the previous stint, where it was Ekkinen, Fred, and Splash.
Yeah. A little bit of a switch, but Ekton, he seems to have the pace. I mean, 28, so always laps 28, so yeah, it would have been that 29.7, so it was last lap he had a penalty and we've got passed that way, because that's kind of the only looks like it would happen.
Yeah, it must have been a mistake or a penalty, and it must have just been then that Ekkinen passed Fred, so we missed that.
Well, we missed that as we were watching the greatest lead in the history.
Yeah, we were too invested in seeing if he could get a 26.
Yeah, which to be fair is thoroughly enjoyable. Mind.
Yeah, and Fred has dropped out of Ekkinen's slipstream range, so I wonder if now, if they're ever going to try it, would now be the time to release Splash.
This would be the opportune time just to go up the inside, brake slightly early, and let him through. They aren't going to do that, but I probably would give him maybe a couple laps, see if he can close up a little bit, then switch him back over. But then they've also got to be mindful that, of course, Oppa is closing in very slowly. I mean, kind of hovering about that 1.6.
Yeah, I mean, Oppa used his tyres quite heavily in the previous stints, and he was the first of this pack of four to pit.
Yeah,
so
he was, and he's using his
I
tyres
think
more.
as the stint goes on, he should probably end up falling away from these lot.
Let's see, 28.2 the last lap from Iktonen. 28.7 so far from Fred. Then we've got a 28.6. So Iktonen is slowly pulling away as well. So he has got a bit more pace in this stage of the race. He's got fractionally better tyres, fractionally less fuel. So you would imagine he would be pulling away a little bit right now. Indeed he is. 2/10 that lap. So opens up a bit more. But back to the topic of this track, like I mentioned earlier on, it has undergone some more changes in recent times. No, not for F1's sake or GT racing, more for the sake of it nearly killed Valentino Rossi.
Yes,
that was
I
a
do not
terrifying.
follow bikes, but I recall that accident up towards turn 4. I believe they have a chicane now
Yes, they do.
up the hill to
Which
slow the bikes down.
fair, very fair, because it was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, one thing I can definitely claim is bikes do not interest me in the slightest.
They don't. Well, the crashes interest me, and watching Marc Marquez fall off a bike is very.
Yeah, like I said, I know
sad.
nothing about it. I do not follow bikes, but all I keep seeing on social media is just how
Marquez fell off a
dumb
Honda.
Marquez is and how he's washed and he just keeps falling off and crashing every week.
Yes, now he's on a Ducati, so there you go. But you probably wouldn't have a clue, so let's move on from
It's nothing
bikes.
to me. I've heard of Ducati, that's about it.
Yeah, there you go. Our common knowledge between us two is F1, and probably that's about it, because I don't really follow many other series as much.
Well, I follow a lot of other series, but just not as much as F1, because I mean, naturally,
Everyone's going to
access to
follow.
information and, whatnot is a lot easier in F1 than some of the other
Yes.
series I follow.
Bike.
And a lot of the series I follow have started killing themselves.
Yes. I mean,
i.e. World Rallycross.
Sad face emoji. Back when it was
Yes.
good. Then they got rid of the commentary team and put it behind a paywall.
Got rid of the commentary team, got rid of the presentation team, moved fully electric, and put it behind the paywall.
And then it died.
Although they are now giving the teams this year the choice of hybrid or internal combustion engine. Or sorry, electric and internal combustion engine. I know Team Hansen have gone for electric, but that's probably because they've poured so much into it.
Yeah. Like I say, of course, there's DTM, which is just GT3
Which is GT3.
because they've killed it. There's Formula E, which is just terrible and no one should watch it unless you were like watching Worst F1 drivers drive around.
Or Dan Ticktum having another tantrum.
Yeah, the Tictum tantrum is always fun to listen to for a driver who really is not that good, and I don't think he's ever shaking off the issue that happened a long time
No, I was
ago.
going to say, so far in his career, barring some crazy upturn, he's going to be remembered for crashing into Collard under a safety car on purpose.
Yes.
That's all he's going to be
Silverstone.
remembered for at this moment.
Was it
and his
Silverstone?
tantrums. Yes, in like Formula 4, I think. British F4. Something like that.
Now, interesting thing, by the way, Fred Dude has picked up a penalty. So,
Yeah, I was just watching him on board, so this is going to release Splash.
now, if I'm Fred Dude, I'd say let him through, but you're going to let him through anyway, so just hold your line, I guess, in this situation. But let's be real here. I think Egtonen's got enough pace right now to cope with that one. So the gap, 2.6 seconds, 2.7 seconds. Penalty coming up just out of this corner, so dropping behind, but will stick ahead of Opper for the time being. But up front, with now a 23-second lead, and kind of taking it easy as your race leader, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to get that 26, he's got nothing to push for, really.
Well, he's only a tenth down in this sector, though, so he's still pushing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ekkonen is going to be safe for third place, barring mistake. I think it seems Fred has had a bit of a scrappy stint, and I think it is compromised Splash, and I think they've confined themselves to fourth and fifth.
Yep, and of course they should just be able to stay ahead of Opper, whose tyres are going off a little bit, and they are pulling away now.
Rob has just put in the chat, bike.
Yes, obviously referring to our conversation about bikes. I'm wondering, is Fred going to be allowed back past Splash here? Oh, wow. If they don't run into each other, that would be... Rob's like, any hair that was, any remaining hair on Rob's like face is like falling off, seeing these two together.
Rob is the only one who's commented in the chat, and I feel like he's contributed nothing to this stream.
Yeah.
He'll bring up the fact we talked about bikes, won't bring up the fact I said he makes us all his minions and we do everything for him for free.
Yeah, we do. If we don't, I don't know what happens. At 55, and
It's going grey again.
it is going grey again. So I think Rob will
Too
never
late in the
have to
race
deal
in
with.
effect. It's far too late in the race to have any effect at all.
Unless it came down massively heavy right now.
Yes, unless in the weather radar it was like yellow or purple. You're not being
Or even just normal blue, but you need it to come down now.
Yes.
So
There's, about 6 laps to go, roughly.
yeah, and these two still together. Bit twitchy on the exit, and surprised as behind Opper has picked up a half-second time penalty. As the two AXR cars lead their respective AXR battle so far for 4th and 5th. Up front, a half-a-second penalty to your race leader. Tut tut.
How race defining is that going to be?
Oh, I think that's race career ending.
I think the only thing you'll be able to aim at it, and it's not even really something you can aim at. It means he didn't get that 26. That's really the only thing he hasn't done that he possibly could have.
Yeah, certainly. It's been an incredible performance so far for the driver. The German leads the field by a comfortable margin. Not just a comfortable margin, a massive margin. He's done an extra stop, leads the race, has led every single lap, I think, bar that first pit stop.
Yes, where I believe it was
Ethan.
Ethan was
Yeah.
leading.
For-
He's broken away from the pack of Ekinen and the AXR cars. Although he was in that pack sort of at the start of the race.
As the clouds continue to get darker, and these two still line astern, but nothing changing as we head to the last 5 minutes of the first stint of this race. As then now we've got to figure out what to talk to about for the next hour and a half.
Oh god. Yeah, that's
We are going to have to turn this into an F1 podcast, aren't we?
Yeah.
This might happen.
Well, if there's
some interesting
not that this
things.
stint's been not entertaining, it's there's been cars that have been close this stint.
They're just
haven't
not
really
doing anything.
fought.
And
Yeah.
next stint is going to be absolutely. We're just going to not be able to see anything. It's just going to be dark. If it's as dark as it looked like when.
Oversight from Rob.
Yeah, if it's as dark as what it looked like when I was in the lobby with Rob earlier.
If I can see nothing and I cannot make out the racing, I'm turning it into a 1.5 hour rant against Rob.
Yeah, that agreed. That would be entertaining. It is going to be starting evening and going into night time, so we'll be able to talk for a little bit. Then slowly, it's just going to get
So it's like
more
a really
ranty.
knockoff Abu Dhabi, but worse.
Yeah, it's going to be a knockoff Abu Dhabi, but you can't see anything.
Fantastic. Can we get Michael Massey in for that one as well?
Yeah.
Spice it up.
Yeah, last lap. Oh, a switch for these two. This is going to be, I imagine, Splash is going to lift off and let him through. No, they're battling. And
I guess they've agreed to fight.
another hair has fallen off of Rob.
They need to make sure that Oppa doesn't find a way through. He's gained about half a second with them slowing each other down in turn 1.
Bit of fun between these two. The one thing they don't need to do, though, is crash into each other. That would be unfortunate.
Well, yeah, no one wants to do that, especially not teammates.
Yeah, especially as these are the only two teammates on the grid, in essence.
Yeah, effectively.
Pretty much twin cars, I guess. Red Bull and Toro Rosso.
Minardi.
Yeah, bit on Minardi. Jaguar. Was it Stewart, actually? There we go, we'll get it correct.
Yeah, and it was Stewart before Jaguar, and then Red Bull bought it.
Good old Stewart. That was a good team when it wasn't, blowing up on the grid.
Oh,
Was-
everyone remembers Herbert winning for them.
Yeah, and of course he had a few other podiums. Of course, that beautiful thing there is, bit close there. His Splash kind of covers the inside. Fred thought about into the last corner, not happening there, Sunshine, but Splash a little bit wide with the toe to the outside. Is he going to try and dummy him? He keeps him flat to the inside, so outside line for Fred, dude, late on the brakes. Can he sling it round the outside of turn 1? Can't do it, but will get a better exit. Up the hill into 2 and 3. Let's see. Left or right? You're going to have to try and dummy him. Force him to go. No, you can't do it. He's going to have to stick there. They're getting also close to touching down the straight. They do. Run wheels to the outside, to the inside goes Splash. Can he hold it around the outside? The answer to that is not quite, but he's still there. Down into turn number 5. This time, can he get something done? Let's see. And the Mercedes lights ablaze to the outside. Can they make it? They both go deep. Can he get the car back? Still can't do it. Now they touch nearly on the exit. And Rob is getting ever more stressed as this goes on.
If those cars were to touch there, one of Rob's cats was getting absolutely launched across his living room. Probably Oscar. 'Cause he's small.
Wow, not smallish.
They need to be careful here because Alpa is 1.4 behind.
Yeah, these two are costing each other. Rob's probably shouting angrily at them. But he's struggling. Splash is really struggling here.
Yeah, when he was behind in the previous stint, you know, you would have said that he
Oof.
looked the faster car.
Well, all of a
Fred's
sudden,
fine. Fred looks faster.
Opper's getting the push him by the chat. They want to see him, but has he got the tyres? I don't think so. But Fred, dude, again trying to go around the outside. These two are both going to compromise each other again on the exit. And surely now they're going to have to let each other. One of them's going to have to just settle for this, because this is going to end up in absolute tears for one of Rob's cats as they get also close to touching again to the outside. But again, Splash still holds the line, still can't quite do it. Fred getting frustrated here as he could try to the outside all he likes, but it's not going to work. He's squeezing Splash to the inside of the circuit. Can he do it? Late on the brakes this time around. Late as he dares. They're going to get close. They're going to get very close on the exit. They almost touch. They do touch there on the exit this time around. And his time now under a second is Opper. And this is getting a bit more tense now. And the fuel's coming out.
Just be getting the cam down from Rob.
1 lap to go. This is the last lap of this race, pretty much coming. As Fred dude going to try to go to the outside through the double right-hander, surely not. They touch again, he gets forced slightly wide. 10 seconds to go. If they were a bit slower, but they're coming through the last corner. There goes Fred dude. They haven't timed it well enough, but there goes Fred finally through. But is Splash going to try and come back, or is he going to settle for it? But of course they've got they've touched each other for turn 1, and then they've broke on the straight nearly, and this is getting a little bit close. Opper's into this as well, and now can Opper get 1? Can he get the pair of them? He's going to have a look on the inside, but Fred comes across 10 times up the inside of Splash, but he goes too deep.
Oh my god, this was worth the hour-and-a-half wait.
And somehow they all come back out the corner, line astern, but these two battling have nearly cost each other 4th and 5th, and it's not over yet. For a second you think he's going to have a little look through the corner, but can't quite do it. Splash holds the line, Fred do behind, Eck has won the race. We don't mind about that, we don't bother about that, because this battle's brilliant.
Yeah, they did nothing for an hour-and-a-half, and with 5 minutes to go they go, oh, do you know what, let's make a race out of it.
It's been the best 5 minutes I've ever seen at an end of a race, and they've still got 1 corner to go. Can Fred do anything to get back ahead of Splash? Into the last 2 corners, he's going to try and set him up. Splash goes a little bit deep there. They touch each other. He spun him around. They hit each other in the last corner. Can you believe it? Opper is going to get the pair of them on the last corner. Oh my dear goodness me. Splash and Fred dude have crashed into each other. Fred's going to wait up on the line. Rob is absolutely going to be livid. Oh dear.
Wow. What?
Oh my
It was coming, you just did not think it was going to be the very, very last turn of the race. Oppa was sat there the whole time behind them, couldn't get through, and he has absolutely been gifted 4th place. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is incredible.
Could they not have raced like that for the other hour and 25?
Goodness gracious me.
It was like an F1 esports race. They just set in a train for most of it, and then with 5 minutes to go, all hell breaks loose.
AXR drama on the final lap of the race. And Opper gets 4th. Nah? Or did he get 3rd? 3rd? 4th? 4th.
Ekkonen came 3rd.
Ekkonen came 3rd. Even 2nd, it was Ect who won. Goodness.
Wow, I'd love to be a fly in the wall of Rob's house.
I'd love to be... I wouldn't like to be the cat on the wall.
No.
I can only imagine what was being said in that party.
Though I imagine there was a lot of angry word. figuring
Yeah, we need
Rob
to-
has not replied to any I imagine there is many words being said. Of course, we'll be getting a new... I presume the next lobby will be opened in a few seconds by Rob, so we'll just sit here and...
Or he just get. Oh, I was gonna say, or he gets everyone into this lobby, but I guess not.
I guess he's gonna wait for the next lobby, so we'll take a small breather, aka just sit back and just look at a checking network environment for a little bit.
Gran Turismo's favourite screen makes you stare at this for ages, even though it did it when you first went into multiplayer.
New lobby incoming. That is a beautiful oh god moment. Who's got lobbies up for me so far? Noir is doing a Le Mans 500 kilometers apparently.
That's something. I need to change the oil in my GT1 again. That's like the 10th time, I swear.
Again?
Yeah, I keep doing the well, I alternate between either the 1 hour of Spa or the Sardinia race, just to get money for this game. I'm trying to complete my car collection, and I need like 10 VGT cars, and then I've got every brand section there.
What have we got left?
I literally went through every dealership and noted what cars I don't have and how much it would cost.
Let me have a look.
I'm
at
very
the
sad like that.
car collection.
And then, yeah, it's just some legend cars I'm missing, mainly just like the 20 million ones.
I'm missing basically most of the GT3 cars that would have seen in the Vision GTs.
And the
And
Vision GTs, which are like the most pointless thing ever.
the only car I don't know is the first car in Italy on the car collection. I don't know what that is.
I'll have a look, see if I have it.
Playing a game of not because I know the second one's a Ferrari and I know the rest are Ferraris and then the Miura, which I don't have for some reason.
Italy, isn't that the Alfa Romeo thing that's 20 million?
I don't know. It might. I presume it is.
It looks like it.
I don't think I've ever seen it appear in the car collection.
It was in there not that long ago.
Oh, I guess I didn't pay attention. Japan, I've got pretty much everything. I'm missing just a few of the cars. I've got the beautiful ambulance low. Saving lows faster and more safely. Literally what it says. Gives you a whole description of an ambulance as well.
I'm very aware of what an ambulance is. I've been in one plenty of times.
It's a veritable unsung hero. Ambulamps. Yes, ambulamps. I do love the ambulamps.
The lobby is up.
Oh, there we go. I need to change the oil on my Mercedes.
I need to try not to fall asleep during this then. I'm very tired.
Oh, diddums.
At least we got some action at the end of Stint 1.
Yeah, that
Waking
just
me up.
that help.
A little bit. I would go make a coffee, but I cannot be bothered, and I don't really want to be drinking coffee at 20 to 10.
No, you're just not iron brew. That'll work.
I don't. Even Rob suggested that. I was like, I don't have any. And he was basically like, you're Scottish, that's illegal.
Yeah, that you should have some. Why don't you have some?
Well, I haven't gone to the shop.
Well, F.
Can't be bothered to go outside. That's effort.
Effort going outside. Right, well, let me just sit on here for the grid for a little bit.
Seems we're getting some repeat drivers. We've got Ekkanen in the lobby. Ek. Rotary. Getting some repeats.
Yeah, so let's have a look as we get everything set up. So yeah, so Ek going for a second one. So he's won the race. Probably. I will always say the diffuser on that Supra is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
That is
rather
one.
protrudes out the back.
It is a one. That is a bit laggy as well right now.
Yeah, I mean the lobby's just up. It should sort itself out.
A wee bit of lag. And let's have a look what the weather radar says. Have we got any chance of a bit of rain? Nope. Here in Spielberg in Austria, in the middle of, well, Austria. I don't actually know where Spielberg is in Austria. I think it's around the middle.
I don't know. It's not a country I've ever been to. I guess I've been close to Austria since I've gone to the Nordschleife, but
No,
I guess you could also claim you've been close to the Netherlands and Poland and whatnot.
yeah. No.
At least it doesn't look too dark right now.
No.
I hope we get started.
Yeah, Paul McEwen's going to fall asleep on us. 50 past the
Rob
hour.
is forcing me to be here against my will.
Start in 7 minutes, Liam.
Rob is forcing me to be here, and I don't want to be here.
Well, you have to be here.
Rob isn't even paying me for this.
No, neither. Want some Jaffa cakes or something?
Rob isn't paying me. Rob, I demand payment, whether that be food, alcohol, or otherwise.
Or all three. Oh, Rob is racing, is he? Oh, he is.
Well, he's
This is
on track.
Great news for you, Liam. This
Well,
is
I
good.
just get to abuse Rob.
Yes, hour and a half.
Well, I'd do that if we play a game with Rob anyway.
That is a good point.
Not much different. If we play Minecraft, I just abuse Rob. If we league race, I just abuse Rob.
Oh, we should.
Oh, no, I have to be nice to Rob when he league races. He was a good teammate to me.
Oh, yeah, we shouldn't say what we've done to his house, actually, should we?
I don't know what you've done to his house.
It's not there anymore.
I'm guessing you did this today when I was not on.
I don't know about.
Okay, well, Rob, if you're listening, I don't have a clue what the hell he's on about. I've not been on our Minecraft world.
Neither have I, actually. But
Well, clearly you have, because you know something.
Oh, but is there? Oh, I'm fear-mongering. Rob's going to start conspiracy.
If you've killed his cat, our whole server is going to die.
Well, I'm pretty certain it's alive, so I haven't been into his house.
Have you just buried his house or something?
But he already is buried.
Well, yes, but...
Even more buried.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a car stuck
Rob
on.
listening to this, veins popping out his head.
Yeah.
Oh, confirmed Luke Mitchell is going to kill Rob on lap 1.
Excellent.
That's an interesting place for JLA to be sat, just on the exit.
It's raining. It's raining.
Oh my god, it is. Rob, do not reset the lobby. Do not reset the lobby. I want rain. But how quickly is this rain going to come, and is it actually going to be enough to force them into stopping? Because it seems like it's almost... It already seems to have lightened up.
Oh, it stopped.
A small burst, or... And we can't see the weather radar, so... God knows.
Yeah, that's sad. The rain's gone again.
I mean, more might come. You never know, quite often in this game you get like little bursts of it.
The brief excitement. And now it's all miserable again.
I really wish you could see the weather radar.
I'll see if one of the drivers who actually has access to this information can tell me.
Yes, that would be useful. Gonna have to rig it to make it more rain.
Rob.
God damn it. So we're gonna get a small burst, like 3-4 laps in, and then it's just gonna stop.
But maybe in the following hour and 20, we might get some rain.
Nope. Luke Mitchell has discovered wool. Or
Unless he means that it's a wall of rain has just appeared on the radar, like it sometimes does.
I don't know.
You know how sometimes it's not just like natural, it's just a wall of
I've
rain.
seen that before. I did that when we were in Rob's lobby this morning. Clear for the next
Clear
hour.
For the next hour. God damn it. So we're gonna get no rain. He probably did with his tears when his drivers crashed in it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh dear. It's gonna be
But I can sympathise with Fred and Splash. I imagine how they feel, because I know if I did that, I would be beating myself up about it, because I'd feel like I'd let the team down. Because it's different racing for yourself and making a mistake like you do in most leagues, but when you're part of a team and whatnot, you're representing other people and whatnot. It's not just yourself.
it certainly is. As oh, we got Joker here at least as well, which is always good to see. We love Joker, don't we, Liam?
No, we got Ethan Points at Road Atlanta. I don't love Joker.
That's a good point. That's yeah.
Screw
Oh.
Joker.
And gets a penalty.
He was always my least favourite teammate.
Yeah, if Joker didn't exist, you would have got a title.
I'd have been a 4-time champion.
Yeah, now you're a 3-time champion.
That's still better than none.
And only missing 1 or 2 rounds next season, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I'll probably be missing 2 or 3 of our touring car league, and then I'll be
Back.
hopping in and out where I'm needed.
Yeah.
For presumably a full-time slot will open up that if I decide I want, I will take.
Absolutely, it'll probably be a full-time slot anyway. Anyway.
Good luck. No, I hope there's no good luck. I hope there is murder and chaos.
There's more rain. It's raining again.
It is. Yeah, I think the one in
It's broken.
the one we were on about that you can see in the like lobby screen is it says like -30 -60 -30 current time. We're
At
now-
rolling
oh,
start.
yes, of course, rolling
That
start.
was
62.
that confused me then.
Yeah, I was on board with Derlachs, the man in 8th, and I was like, why is he between the last 2 corners?
That's going to be an interesting rolling start. Good luck, everyone. I hope nobody crashes on lap 3.
I
That's.
hope everyone dies and we have chaos and rain and death.
Oh, well, here we go. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. And we are off. And X gets a predictably good start. And that'll be the last time we see him. Luke Mitchell down the back. And we're watching turn 3.
Yeah, he's promised he's going to murder Rob.
Rob's right ahead of him there as we come up the hill. Is Ethan going to have a little look at the lead here? No, he's too far back. That'll be an
He probably
audacious
wants
dive.
it. He knows that if he does, he's just gonna
Compromise himself.
be compromising both the races.
Right, did Giratina kill the... No. Disappointed.
Looks like Joker is on the back of JLE.
Bit of lag still so far. GLE's going to run into the side. Oh dear. Now that's going to be a pile up. Have they all avoided?
Ekkonen.
Did they not get any
prob-
damage?
This time round, a crash. Oh, Ekkonen got some front right damage. This time round, a crash has worked for the AXR drivers.
No. AXR drivers get redemption by virtue of the Finland death. That was
Yeah, this time the Supra, rather than gaining from a crash, caused the crash, which helped the AXR cars. Oh, it's only lap 1, there's still plenty of time to revert any issues. We saw last, or I think season 1, the one I did some commentary for. But JLE is a more than capable driver.
Yeah, he certainly is indeed. As down the field, we've got Mitchell at the back, but up front with a 5/10 penalty. Straight away, that's early for Mr. Act doing that double stint.
Joker has one too, but he's got a gap back, so he should be fine.
Yeah, so wow, so is the leader. He's got that 1.5 second gap, so we know that half a second for him. He can still go half a second quicker than the car behind, so it doesn't actually cost him anything, really, does it?
No. He's going to be completely fine.
No. Let's see what we've got down the field. Still got all 8 drivers on the grid. So we didn't gain any new ones. And now we just look to the sky. That's all we got to do now for a little bit. Look to the sky.
Yeah, we know in about 4 minutes it's going to rain, then it's going to stop, then a few minutes after it's going to rain again.
But how heavy?
Whether that's going to be heavy enough to force anyone on to enters or full wets, we don't know yet.
A bit of a battle here between Opper and Derlact, and that's going to be Brave around the outside. That's not going to work. You're going to get shuffled out, and that'll be your penalty. And I expect there's a lot of lag on my screen. I don't know if that's for you as well.
Yeah, there is some for the German and the Aston, but JLE is going to try around the outside into turn 1.
That's not going to work, because he's going to go deep, and you're going to try and get a cutback, but yeah, best bet is now trying to do it up the hill. The Aston's quick in a straight line, though. It's always been a quick car, but the Supra, never mind, I'll take it all back. Everything I've just said is a lie.
Already.
No. Betrayal.
Seems the could be downforce related. Obviously, maybe the Aston has
and he's
a
gone.
lot of downforce. Maybe the Supra has little.
I'm leaving after a few laps, which is a little bit disappointing. Leader's got another half a second penalty there.
Yeah, he's a little scruffy at the start of this stint. He can't keep doing that too much. We know he's got a big pace advantage, but he can't keep doing that.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to end up throwing it off the road by keep going wide. And again, goes off the road in there, and is that another half a second penalty? Probably not, but gets rid of it. It's bringing Ethan back into it ever so slightly, but the issue is we've got, though, is because we know for a fact that X tyres are a lot worse. So he's going to have to get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he has loads of time to throw away. I mean, yes, he won by a rather large margin last race, but, you know, it's very easy over an hour and a half race to little mistakes to add up to, you know, 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, certainly. He's already got a second total of penalties with these 2.5 seconds, of course. Remember, that's a bit more than it's slightly more than a second normally. Half a second, and it multiplies more penalty you get. But let's see if Ethan can keep together. Then we got Joker behind. And what's that Sky doing so far? Weatherman McEwen? Grey.
It looks a bit normal. I mean, when it rained in practice, the sky didn't seem to actually go that dark. So, I guess it'll come on, disappear, and then come back.
Indeed. Well, we got the two AXR drivers of Rob and Joker near each other, though a bit of a difference this time of 2.4 seconds. So hopefully these two don't run into each other. That would be unfortunate.
No, because I imagine if they're near each other, Rob is the type of person he would just let Joker go.
Yeah, Rob is a little bit more of a restrained driver.
I mean, we saw this season in our touring car league that he is a team player.
Yeah, he certainly is. Certainly at the last round was a team player.
Did his best Hamilton Abu Dhabi 2016 impression.
Some would call that dangerous driving. And there's the rain.
Probably Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, I know,
everything dangerous driving.
I know someone else would call it dangerous driving. Yeah.
that one's gone over me, but
Hmm.
is that? Yeah, that is the rain. About when it was in practice. So it'll come, go, and be back.
There's a lot of lag on my screen.
There's for me for the German in last place, but the rest of them, there's the odd jitter.
They're jittering, but not like catastrophic. Yes, there's the rain, but again, not enough to get to any conditions because there it should stopped now. There it stopped again. But we know in the next 3 laps it comes back again. There's a bit more rain there actually. It's running in board with Joker, but there it stops. What's going to make this interesting is to see how quick can X then go in the wet if it does get to a point where it is going to become intermediate conditions.
Yeah, I mean, his car does look a
Twitchy.
lot more loose and slidey than everyone else's, so you think, is he going to be able to keep that pace advantage in the wet over, you know, a more stable looking setup? As Ethan's got himself a 1 second penalty.
2 right-handers at the last corner. Looks like he went, well, he definitely went wide there because there's nowhere else you can really pick a penalty up. As we've got
enough of a gap to Joker, that'll be fine.
4th,
Joker
5th
probably gonna
and
go to about second.
6th battling away. We've got Mercedes, we've got Mazda, and then we've got the Supra, or the BMW, depending on who you want to talk to. Some people call that a BMW still. If you put a BMW on there, it probably, you know, just look the same, but with its massive diffuser. I just can't believe how big that diffuser is. I only noticed it just like this stint, how big it was, and dear God, and the rain light
it's
flashing.
rather large.
Yeah, it's the rain. It's raining again. No.
I don't think it's raining yet. Nobody's wipers are on.
No, it's the red lights start flashing on Upper as he goes inside into the 2 right-handers, gets the job done, nicely done. This usual thing is because when it rains, the rain light comes on, so that's always useful.
Yeah, if you go on board, there's no drops, no wipers, but there probably will be in a minute or 2.
It certainly is. In comes Durlac into the pit lane. Now, is this for a bold intermediate? He hasn't got suspension damage now, and he's still coming in.
He's going in, but he would have already cleared it.
Well, he's not reached the pit box yet, though.
Well, he got damage from that crash he had with JLE.
Ah.
I can't imagine.
Well, no, but that's Igtanen got damaged, though. That's Igtanen who got damaged, though, with him, so...
Oh, Durlac's also had damage. It showed him having front right damage
No,
when he entered the pits.
Didn't show me any damage on my end, so... This is indicating we are about to have a deluge, potentially. Or he's sawn a little bit of water and is absolutely gone and, yeah. Been scared.
The question is now, if the rain is like 2 or 3 laps away, he's going to absolutely...
It's raining now. In comes your race leader. Now,
yes, it's clearly going to be quite heavy by the time it's forcing everyone in.
In comes 2nd, in comes 3rd, in comes 4th. Yeah, so we're going to have some intermediate conditions. In comes...
I think Durlax has come in a lap too early.
Yeah, it's not going to get hard enough. But look at the rate. It's coming down now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
See the meter in the bottom left next to their tyres, that shows you how much rain it is. And generally, bottom third you can do slicks, middle you can do intermediates, and if it gets to that top third you need full wets.
as out the entire field comes, and this has not worked at all. Now it's become wet enough for the intermediate tyres. So a little bit of rain here then at Spielberg, and a nice race in the rain. We love wet races. We'll have to bring a safety car out though, unfortunately.
No, I think safety cars in Gran Turismo would be rather hectic.
Can you imagine? We do have them. Surprisingly,
Yes, we
surprisingly,
have safety cars in the game. There's just no use for them.
yeah. Need
It's just
a
a road car with some lights on it.
need that extra slot for a safety car, man. It really's come down, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's halfway through that bar. I mean,
Big.
even if it doesn't get to that top third of that bar, you really do start to like slide an aquaplane on these intermediates.
Yeah, well, I think. Has anyone gone for a? I know, normally when I see rain, I normally dive straight in for the wet tyres anyway because it just doesn't really affect it too much. What tyres you use, I do believe. That heck, is so slideways, and this is Ethan's real chance of getting a good result.
Yeah, like I said, he seems to be obviously the fastest driver by about a second, but he doesn't seem to have a very stable car, and in the rain, that's gonna
Be compounded.
be amplified.
Just look at the gap. It was 7 seconds. Now it's down to 5, well, just 5.5 seconds. So it's come down a little bit. 50 to a 49. So yeah, 1.8 seconds. He's gone straight on at turn number 1 again. So Eck really struggling in these conditions.
Yeah, he's going to be hoping this rain disappears rather soon, and I think it has already stopped raining.
Yeah, it has stopped raining.
So I mean, knowing this game, this rain will, there will be a dry line in 3 to 4 laps time. Knowing this game dries up very fast.
He's gone straight on again though, and that gap dipping all the time. But then Joker's coming into this as well. He's keeping up. Then they've got the 2 Finnish drivers, Linus Stern, yet again after their contact earlier on. Hopefully no bad blood between them. I presume not.
I'm sure they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I just imagine so as well. But the question is, are we going to get any more rain? I hope so. But that's almost...
No, I'd say no. You'll probably see this little back end for slick tyres in a handful of laps' time, providing no more rain falls. It looks like it's going lighter already.
Oh, just look at the tank slaps the race leader's getting is... It's not stable, but he's pulled that gap back up again to just over 5 seconds. It was down to 4.5, so let's see if Ethan can come back. But then again, Ethan did make a mistake because Joker closing into that one as well as the cameraman breaks his skull as he flicks the camera straight back a near vertical angle.
Looks like Eck has got more pace again.
Yeah.
Did basically the same lap as Ethan, but it's Joker who seems to be the fastest in these conditions.
Yeah, 40.3 to 46 and a 40.7. 46 for Ectonon, 42.5, 39.9 for Roblo. So, our boy Shouter's going for it as Audit kept it just there, didn't he? Just about, but too much curb. That's...
I told you, Senna was good in the wet, and Rob has just decided he is the reincarnation of Senna.
Well, at least we're not Imola.
Wow.
Hey, we run out of fuel. We did that once upon a time. 1986. Yeah, 1985, 1985 or 6. The race that no one wanted to finish, they all ran out of fuel.
One thing I've noticed is in the pit stops, Ethan and Ekkinen seem to not take fuel, whereas Eck, Joker and Rob seemed to take fuel. So there's a chance, providing Joker can stay close, he might be close to Ethan at this next stop, after this next stop.
I reckon, what do you say, next lap we'll start seeing people in for some potential dries?
Close, it's a couple of laps I think. Because of course, once a dry line forms, you got to remember that the curbs and off the racing line and everything is going to be so slippery.
And remember the pit lane exit as well. That's going to be torturous.
Yeah, that while the enters might technically be slower, they are going to be safer for a couple of laps.
And also, it is getting darker with each passing lap. Looking at the sky, I reckon we've got...
Jay Ali is in. Is he going for slicks?
That's bold.
I would have said it seems a little early, but I guess he wants to be the one to make these bold calls since he's towards the back.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got nothing to lose for. Let's see. In he comes, the Supra driver in. Up goes the jacks. Tries.
Gonna be doable, but it's gonna be so risky. As he puts a wheel on a curb, he is going straight round.
Let's see, racing sauce. Now this is going to be the intertity thing. Can he get the? He's not. He's going straight on. He's going to have to go so slow. That's the AI, by the way, coming out the pit lane, not him.
Yeah, he has control now.
No grip.
Crawl until he can get into the middle of the track.
There we go. Now he can get on the power, but
Yeah, I think it was maybe a lap early. It's gonna be drivable, but it's gonna be
sketchy. Yeah. Let's see. Can he get the car slowed down here? He's just going to go skating a little bit. One wheel on a curb, and that's going to be impossible. He's managed to get it on, but you can do this, but it's the pit lane exit. And we'll keep an eye. I don't think anyone else is going to come in.
No, nobody seems to be taking that one. Ekkonen doesn't. Rob doesn't.
What they're going to wait for, presumably, the smart choice would be wait and see if we suddenly get a purple lap pop up. The issue is Etkin's gone and done a 27.4. So, I mean, like, if Lennon starts to,
Well, I think based on the first stint, I mean, obviously Jay Lee in that Supra wasn't in the first stint, but it seems like not many people are going to be able to match X lap times.
Let's see what he can do. Can he close in a little bit? As long as he doesn't get on this curb on the outside, it'll be fine. Hold it. Just about gets away with that one. It's going to be, and that's going to go... Oh, doesn't look good. So the first lap out was a 56.9, but this lap's the one we want to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, while you're on the dry line, you might be fine, but you run a little deep, go into a wet patch, go onto a curb, you're just going to have to sit there and just take it until you can get back onto the dry bit.
The gap itself is opening up to the car behind, 2.1 seconds down. So yeah, it's definitely not ready yet, but I'd say if you're going to make the gamble, you would do it this next lap, if anything.
Yeah, like I say, slicks are doable right now, but you're nowhere near as safe as you are on the intermediates. You have that safety of you can take curbs, you can run a little wide.
And looking at that gap now, 13.3 seconds, still not closing at all. So I'd have it a guess. This is probably, I guess, have 3 laps early still.
Yeah, definitely seems a little early, as he's over 6 seconds down in the middle sector, so... I mean, the leader did a 35.9, I'm guessing it seems Shelley's going to do something around a 37, if I had to guess.
And you can see he's obviously closing a little bit in the corner there, but then goes back up, so let's see. But again, just getting a little bit on the curbs. So, let's see, you said a 37? Bang on the money.
Maybe I should do the lottery this week.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, he was about a second and a half slower than the leading 3. But it was Ekkonen who was fastest last time around with a 35.3.
Oh, well, I'm surprised there, aren't we? He's and got a second penalty though.
Slower.
That is a hard corner to get a penalty on there because he was sideways through it. I guess Gran Turismo doesn't really care on that one, does it?
No, it just detects if you're over the lines or not. It doesn't care how or why you're there.
Have you got a car off the road? That's the luck. Gone a bit deep. Oh, the sun reflecting off the ground as we go into this. There's a bit of the wet patch still. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now we wait and see what it's going to be like when it goes dark.
Yeah, I imagine...
more rain in the dark.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. That'll be beautiful. Some torrential downpour in the middle of the night. We're just going to see pirouettes going through. Just a surprise, just pink cloud. So we just...
Eck was a second faster than anyone last time around, so he's going fine on those enders.
4-1. What can... Oh. Jelly do. up to the line. Can he improve? So 35 to a 34, so a second still.
But he was faster than everyone in second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. He was only slower than Eck.
Which is unsurprising. Ethan second, Joker third so far of the 7 drivers in this race after we lost Luke Mitchell very early on. The question is, does anyone dare to take a stop now? Because the issue is, you can take a stop now, but that pit lane exit is so lethal.
Yeah, but they're all going to have to do it at some point.
Yeah, so he's going to throw the dice and take a gamble. No one this lap. Not Rob.
They're probably always going to follow whatever Eck does.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But Hector, I mean, look, we're getting to a point now where it's definitely dries are the preferable tyre for the racing line. But like you said, you go a millimetre wide and you go in straight on.
Yeah, it's obviously faster, but it's much higher risk. You make a mistake on the inters, you're just going to lose a second or two. You make a mistake on these, you can lose 10, 15 seconds just spinning off in a runoff area.
Let's see, what does JLE do this time? So it was a 35.0 last lap. And that gap's
faster this time around.
sitting
33.
30, yeah, it's definitely time now, I'd say, for those intermediate tyres to be taken off. 35.5 for Ethan, 35.6 for your race leader. But the thing is, once there's someone pitting, they come out the pit there, it's going to be sideways immediately.
It's very possible if someone obviously forgets that they have to go over the wet bit to get onto the dry bit on the pit exit.
Leader stays out yet again. Let's wait a second. I mean, they might. I mean, the thing is, we've got right now is a situation where do you come in the pit lane and take that gamble, or do you stay out? That's the thing. Because I mean, the leader's doing 33.8 right now. On those intermediate tyres.
Yeah, and that matches what JLE did last time around, but he's only getting faster and faster.
Yeah, it certainly is. So it's an interesting little dynamic. Of course, JLE, we're not expecting to be... Well, he's going to come out... He'll probably be out last anyway, I think, when everyone pits, unless the times really start dropping. But I mean, we're what? Still, there's a 30, so we're going to be in the 32s, 33s. So I mean, the leader's matching still anyway. 666, nice. So, but then of course, like you said, we've got to also counteract that it's getting dark. And that's going to be a huge curveball in this race, especially as the twilight starts to roll in. We're just over 1 hour to go in this stint 2. Let's see who is going to be doing what down the field. Gap between 6th and 7th now, 2 seconds. What lap time's the leader going to set? Half a second penalty for good measure. It's going to be a 33, 34 dead. So Ethan comes in, Liam.
Yeah, he is.
Throw the dice.
Yeah, is he going to be the only one? It seems so. Nobody else is going to... He should be fine to stay ahead of JLE. But how's he going to deal with the pit exit? Is he going to remember that you have to cross over the wet bit to get to the dry bit?
Let's see. Fuel all the way up. Bit of a janky fuel up there on my screen, but out he comes, and now all of a sudden into the wet patch. The AI takes over. It'll bring him to a crawl. He's probably getting very grumpy about this, going, what's going on? And now gently get on the dry bit, and there he goes, and away he goes. Now he's got to get the bit between his teeth and gun it. Because if he can gun it right now, he can come out. He might even come out in the lead, but you would imagine The leader will
Well-
retaliate and come straight in.
The only thing is, Ethan was one of a few cars that didn't take fuel on the swap over to Enters, whereas the likes of Joker and Rob and Eck did. I mean, if Joker comes in this lap, he
leader
has a
stays
chance
out.
of jumping Ethan.
But if he stays out like another lap or two, it's going to be for nothing. Unless Ethan, of course, makes a mistake, which we could all be going off the road. So Joker stays out. Ikonen stays out. Gru stays out. Look at the sky right now.
Oh, Joker's off.
Oh, he's in the wall. Now, what has happened there
Well,
for
any chance of
Joker?
passing Ethan.
So what's happened there? How has he gone off there then? So has he got...
Guessing he's probably gone a bit wide and just sort of aquaplaned straight off. I disappeared from him, went back to him, and he was on the grass.
Oh, so I was in the wall when I cut to him again. That's an odd crash. He didn't get any damage though, so he was very lucky. But how is Ethan doing is the question what everyone wants to know is what time is Ethan going to do straight away? The out lap was quicker than his in lap nearly, which is always an indicator that it's going to be quick. And we know Ethan does like these changeable conditions. Now, how quick can he go? Race leader has a commanding lead now of 16.3 seconds. Are we going to see anyone? Is he diving in this lap? Yeah, and he comes, the race leader, and then pits in. So this is for dry tyres. Almost crashed into the wall on the way in as Twilight now begins.
Yeah, and soon we're just going to see headlights. Does
Yes.
Ekinen follow the leader in?
No.
No, he does not.
Joker, neither.
Does Rob? Looks like he is going to.
So Rob's going to take some data then as he comes in the pit lane, nice and slow, with traction control on as well, which is fair enough that Rob could use traction control.
But yeah, I think a bunch of them had turned it on for the rain.
Oh, Ethan's dropped it! Oh, easy! Oh. And the leader's just flooring it in the there, and he's going to come out in P2 still, but that almost was a massive off for Ethan.
Yeah, that's the obvious risk with these dries. You make a small mistake and it's just amplified as soon as you get on the wet bit.
And he kept it going though, just about, and gap 10 seconds, which is about where you'd imagine it to be. So he's got a 25-second lead over. So yeah, there's a 5-second gap over Ictonen if it's a 30-second pit stop-ish. You kind of want to look at the net race leader though, because that's the thing. He's been very much using all the curbs, so he's got to be careful he doesn't end up putting a lot on the curb himself, because he's been very twitchy, hasn't he?
Yeah, and if his car is as loose and slidey as it seems to have been, he's gonna obviously
two
run
in.
the risk of an oversteer moment of oversteering into the wet bit.
And right like that. And he just kept it going. Yes, he has. I think that might have been a bit of lag, actually. As the track illuminates up, as we come down to
Rob's
turn.
got himself a 3-second penalty.
So he's gone over the pit exit line. As we have a car off the road, and that is Deluxe. That is at turn 3. Exit got on the. Well, he's gone a bit too wide and it's just dropped him. So where is... I thought that's really worked out for JLE, hasn't it?
Yeah. It looked a risky move, and it was maybe a lap or two too early, but it's in the end worked for him. I mean, a lot of people were late to respond. I guess they obviously couldn't tell what his lap times were, but
Now all of a sudden, it's worked, and now all of a sudden, they've got to deal with a bit of a bigger issue. And that would be it becoming night time, which is always a terrifying thing, as we've got the first lapper of the day, and that is going to be Deluxe getting lapped by your race leader, and this is always going to be an interesting thing. Alright, where are you going to go? Because you don't want to go on the inside and then just spin immediately. Oh, wow. Like that. And now, that's not gone very well, has it? And you want to be very careful here. This is not a nice place to be sitting. Oh, this is going to end horrendously. Ugh. It's fine. Right, and he's got to come in the pit then to take away that damage, surely? No? Okay.
He's going to deal with it. Well, yes, he's literally on his outlap, so...
That's not gone well for him, has it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to act differently in the rain conditions or when the track is partly wet. If you're the one moving out the way, you obviously want to move off the racing line, but you don't want to go just fully on the wet bit. Maybe just move over to the edge of the dry line. Or
at least do it on the straight. Oh dear. Oh.
Well, as we get a random tune out of Evil, so ISI will be taking over commentary for a minute or two. But yeah, not the best start to a soft stint from Durlac. And if anything, the losers of the transition phase are the AXR cars. I mean, Joker obviously had his incident. We don't know if we saw anything else, but he's down in 5th after running 3rd for most of this. Brute down in 6th, he was, I believe, 4th or 5th. But they still have almost an hour. Yeah, this wet dry phase has really started to spread the field out. Durlax is in the pause menu, which isn't going to be ideal for whoever's next up to lap him, which is going to be Groot. Oh, he's out of it. Yeah, 14 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds, and 21. We have quite the field spread now because of this weather situation. There's yellows. I think that is Durlac off again, this time at the last turn. Guessing he's gone wide in the penultimate, and that's just sort of dragged him. That was maybe a little sketchy. I think Groot probably would have liked it to be a bit more predictable than that.
Apologies for that.
Yes, it's okay. I took over for a minute or two.
Ugh. Random people just deciding to ring my doorbell. No idea who they were. But, there we go. Right. Where was we?
I was just pointing out how the wet phase of this race seems to have really spread the field out.
Yes, it would appear so. As 14 seconds, there's a 4 seconds GLE, 8 seconds, and there's Joker, who's one of the drivers that lost out quite a bit with that mistake earlier on.
Yeah, I was pointing out that the AXR car seems to be the ones that have lost out.
Up over the hill, and down he comes, and Rob, like I said, he lost out a lot of time with that 3-second penalty as well on top. Did not help.
Yeah, Durlax is having quite a few offs, so he's clearly struggling with these conditions.
Up front, he said, like, he's not enjoying these conditions, especially. I mean, he's been using all the curbs, he's been using all the tracks, and I mean, his pace level is still quicker than Ethan's, despite making all these mistakes. Wait, no, we're talking about a different person. Never mind.
Yeah, I was only with the car in 7th, Durlax.
Oh, my brain saw a German, and there's a German up front. It's late, okay, it's 10:30. Yeah, he's not having much fun, is he?
No, he's seemingly making a lot of mistakes and clipping a lot of grass. And
there's another one. One thing he wants to be careful of is he doesn't drop it right in front of, you know, the leader and take him out, which would be catastrophic.
Yeah, he had a moment and was nearly a sketchy moment for Rob, where Rob probably didn't know where he was going. Also, he was curious at this point. He was going like half throttle down some of the straights.
I guess he just doesn't know where the dry bit or the wet bit is. Which, you know, imagine, you know, the darker bit is the wet bit and the shiny bit's, you know, the dry bit, but he's not having much fun, is he?
No, JLE has been starting to catch Ethan. That gap is almost under 4 seconds. And Ethan has been seemingly... The last lap he was quicker than Egg, although that was the first time in a few laps. Egg clearly not as comfortable once the track is a bit damp.
Certainly on that one, Joker Rob to elect, who has now been lapped. Let's run on board of him then, let's see what he does. Oh, that's not what you do. And let's see, so what you're meant to do in these conditions is not touch the curb on the outside, so don't do that. Ugh. Nice. So what he's doing is he's taking it like he does in the dry.
Yes, which, considering the edge of the track, the grass, the curbs, the white lines are all very, very slippery.
It's not recommended. See, if this was a four-wheel drive, that would work. Oh dear. That's really not a nice place to be. Oh, this is... Oh, don't just sit there. Don't just sit there. Ugh.
Yeah, he seems to be going to his pause menu a lot, and it seems to be causing some chaos.
That would... that's... No, he's flooring it back on the power straight away, and...
Oh yeah, he's in his pause menu, which is what I think he did when he spun. I really don't know what he's doing. He's back on the wet bit, but...
He's on the pause
the
menu.
thing with this game is like, he's half throttle down here. I really don't understand what he's doing. This game simulates a dry line. It doesn't matter where you have driven or where everyone has driven, it has a set area where the dry line will appear, and half the time it is in... Like, some tracks is very noticeable, like more technical tracks, like Spa, you'll notice the dry line is just not where the racing line is.
It's a peculiar one, and the launch life, I think, is probably torture. Delac struggling as he is down the back. He's giving us entertainment, though. Yellow flag. Who's gone off? Rob. That's a big off.
Rob at the last corner, damage to both ends.
Oh dear. And oh dear, Rob. Where are you going?
A moment.
He's still having a moment.
Tried to get out of the way and at low speed, low traction.
It's raining again.
Oh my god, it is.
And Rob's going to be right in the middle of the track, and this is going to be very sketchy, this lap. I tell you what, this has worked quite well for Delact if he can get it into the pit lane. I don't think he can, though. He's in the pause menu doing that. Cheating. It stopped raining again, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the AI will automatically just pull you into the pits if you're paused, so I think that's why he's in the pits. Because his tyres are brand new, and he's got fuel, and it's clearly not rained enough to force anyone back onto inters.
Yeah, look for a
small burst, now are we going to get more?
Yeah, like it did earlier on, is it repeating itself constantly? Let's see, is he going to go on to the intermediate tyres? Yes. To be fair, might be better for him at this rate, wouldn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically race over for him at this point already. He's
4 minutes down.
2.5 minutes.
Lapped by
2.5 minutes
everyone.
away from the next car.
Yes, that rain is... Ethan's made a mistake.
He has. JLE is through.
Now,
he missed that one.
I get missing all the action apart from the main bit of the last race.
Yeah, we caught that, but this time, anytime someone makes a mistake, we seem to miss it.
Yeah. Now, I'm wondering, is that being caught up behind Rob somewhere?
No, he got past Rob up into turn 4. But I'm guessing he's spun fully because it was a 139, whereas he's been doing 130s. But he's lost about 9-10 seconds.
Yeah, so getting on the
I'm guessing
curb
he's just gone
somewhere.
slightly wide. Rob has Jaylee and Ethan back on his case. I think he'd probably let them go down to turn 5.
The question is, where do you go? You would have to guess there's enough straight down there to get out the way, but you do it. He's getting flashed led behind from Ethan, so Ethan wants them to get out the way. But the issue is, where do you get out the way in the wet?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen with Rob and with Derlax what happens if you try and get out the
Yellow
way.
flags?
Oh, it was the leader.
Lead's gone off as well.
Oh, it's where Rob has just spun. Oh my god.
Oh,
Rob has clipped the grass and done about 4 or 5 pirouettes.
he's still pirouetting down that. And there he is. No, we're still pirouetting. Oh, there goes Ictonen's almost done it. It's Rob. Come on, Rob. You can do it. There we go. Back on the track. Now, it becomes even more dark. And this isn't even as dark as it's going to get.
Oh god. Yeah. The joy is I'm not streaming, so I can watch in like chase cam where I can see a little more. You have to watch in basically TV or onboards.
Oh, I can go into chase camera for one, but I might get ridiculed.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it fair if I go in chase cam?
I don't know. I mean, whenever I'm spectating a race, I quite like watching in chase cam because you can see around you. But
I'll stick into this cam and you can tell me what's going on.
yeah, Rob has come into the pits. I imagine that's for his damage. I don't imagine he's going to take enters.
I still just... That's really surprising how this rain has just not disappeared properly. Like, it's still
Oh,
hovering.
Ethan's gone a little wide out of 5. He's not like made a huge mistake, but he's lost about a second, having to just wait to get back on the dry bit.
It does look very pretty in the sky, I will admit. Especially those mountains in the background that do look slightly, a bit buggered. I won't lie.
Yeah, they look weird because I think they're just like all black.
Yeah, there's the black textures of the mountains, which is not really how mountains work.
No, but that's just them simulating being dark.
Flashing light. That's a bit cheeky there for Ethan.
Yeah, I guess you cannot do it excessively.
And that kind of
If it does it
worked
excessively, that might be a penalty.
a little bit there, because it brought it back in, flashing the lights, especially into the braking zone is. I imagine... It's not... Well, it's frowned upon, but it's not illegal.
It's unsporting. I don't imagine there's a specific rule written about it, but it's almost like one of those things where it's just like you just don't do it.
Or maybe he didn't mean to do it. He's on a wheel, though, so I suppose he's...
Yeah, I mean, there's every chance he might not have meant to do it. Because we saw him in Stint 1 flashing his lights a bunch, so I don't know if he just, like, happens to, like, rest his hand or a finger against the button for it.
Oh, a bit twitchy there. As Gain gets on the thing. Gap up front, 10 seconds. It's gone down again, so... What was that, 41 there? He spun last, that wasn't it? That's why it's that low.
He spun. He had it at about 18, 19
Oh, he's
seconds.
going straight on again, low. Oh, has he kept it? Just about. He's not enjoying these conditions.
Yeah, if the rain stays away, eventually the
It will
edges
dry
of the
out.
track and the curbs and whatnot will start to dry out. But we've had a couple of little bursts of rain, which are going to, even if it's not enough to force them onto the inters, it's going to just keep the edge of the track and everything just that bit wet. Oh, he got sideways into the last corner, but he's fine.
Still sideways on the exit nearly. And down the straight they come. Lennon versus Graham. Up front. It's got that gap. It's track continuing to dry out. And tell you what, it's not got as dark as it was last race, which is fortunate so far. Well, the last time with me and Rob practicing in these conditions. Though I imagine it's still got a bit more to go.
Yeah, it's
If we stayed like just least
Joker's
darkness.
made a mistake.
Oh, he has. Damaged front right now. He's gone wide into that double right-hander, has dropped it. And he's hit the inside wall, I bet you that. 37... Yeah, so... Yeah, last corner drops it onto the curb and it's slammed him into the wall, but he's managed to keep it going in a straight. What a terrible afternoon for AXR.
Yeah, the start of this race looks quite promising. They were running in 2nd and 4th, I believe.
Well, terrible two stints, I suppose, I guess, because they killed each other last stint.
Yes, they had a crash in Stint 1, and now Stint 2, they're making a bunch of mistakes. Despite having pace to be farther up. I mean, Joker looked like he could have been... He probably could have been in this fight with Jay Lee and Ethan.
Yeah, he is pace for second.
He was tailing Ethan for most of the race. He seemed to have a slight pace advantage over Ethan in the wet conditions, in the drying stages, so... He was only just about 2 seconds back, so you think, with Ethan making a couple of mistakes too, he very much could have been in this fight for second without a couple of crashes for Joker.
Looks like it's getting lighter, doesn't it, than it's getting darker. Surprised.
Maybe.
Interesting, time's going backwards.
The Joker indicating to come into the pit lane. There's nobody around him. I mean... I can't remember if Joker has a driver's license or not, but he's definitely safe.
Yeah.
Mirror signal maneuver and all that.
I always find it amusing that the tyres are glitched. You can see straight through them in the pit lane.
Not for me.
No, I can see like I can't see the rims on the other side on the outside tyres. I can just see straight through.
Yeah. But that's because rims don't go all the way through a tyre, they're just like on the bleeding edge.
Well, yeah, but I can't see the leading edge of the rim. That's what I meant.
I can.
Oh, well, I couldn't.
See it on the one side and then on like the end side, because that's obviously where the wheel bolts on, so you don't see it.
Couldn't see it at all. I could just see straight through it, clipping through even the sides of the tyres.
Joker indicating left to come out the pit lane.
Bless him.
There's someone's grandma turned up to drive this Mercedes.
Well, I mean, at the pace it's going right now, I'd have to guess Ethan's right on the back of Lennon right now, but where's there a space to go around the outside? Almost a wheel on the grass. That's going to be brave. Late braking, outside versus inside. Lennon's not going to give the space. Has he got... No, he's backed up. He hasn't got the grip. Fair enough, but can he get the exit and come straight back through? And this is always where racing gets funnest. And you've got to be very, very... You can't be making manoeuvres and blocking onto the thing, otherwise you'll be having a massive accident. So you've got to be very careful, don't you?
Yes, especially in these conditions.
Oh, your mic just cut out there.
Anything, you know, if you force them to the edge of the track, that's the wet area.
And then you spin and crash, and you've got no chance if you get put on there by another driver. There's up front, race leader, 12-second advantage again now after those two had their little battle. We've got... Who's that? Oh, someone's had a big... Is that the two AXR cars? That's Rob! That's Rob! That's a wall! That's not good!
Oh. That last corner is proving difficult for the AXR cars.
Oh, he wants to be careful here. Oh, this isn't a good place to be. Ugh. That's a terrifying place to be on the outside of the track, that. I think we should rename this last corner, Liam, to AXR. Because it's proven to be a killer of all four of the AXR drivers this this race.
Yeah.
Two last stint. Multiple versions of each other this stint. Now, finally, the track...
Proving difficult for them.
The racing line is officially completely dry now. So that always indicates, and it just does not look like it's getting any darker. Oh, the stars have just come out, never mind.
It's dry, but Derlax is still running around on the enters.
I don't think he wants to go on other tyres, to be fair.
No, but I mean, the edge of the track is starting to slowly get there.
No, I'd say probably now would be around the time if you really were being this struggling to go on it. Oh, race leader's gone off! Has he kept it? Oh!
Just about.
A heart-in-mouth moment for your race leader right there. That's what happened, I imagine, happened to Joker. When he went off that one time. Yellow flag. Someone's off again. That's Rob again.
Oh, this last corner is proving a hell.
Oh dear.
Last corner is a living nightmare for these drivers.
That's another one, and Delacta getting out of the way. To be fair, being on the intermediates means he can get out of the way on the wet stuff.
Yeah, that makes it safer for him, and I guess safer for everyone else.
Actively, I imagine poor Jelly's being well, I'm just going to call him Jelly now. There we go. Well, I suppose that is his name. That is his name, isn't it, Jelly?
I was always told to refer to him as JLE.
No, JLE. He's oh, that's a bit terrifying. He's lost so much time this lap stop behind him as well. It was about 1 second behind. Now he's a bit more. It's the race leader again, just driving two wheels on the wet stuff as you do. I tell you, for night time, that's a very bright night sky in front of us. I guess the sun just hasn't set properly yet.
I mean, we're only just over half an hour to go and it's still lightish. So maybe Rob is going to escape scathing criticism.
Yeah. I suppose maybe it's just when it was getting the clouds is why it was that dark. Which would make sense. As we're expecting Jelly in this lap. Well, this next 2 laps for some fuel. Ethan a bit longer, so potential double podium for Ethan will boost his spirits of the FTR team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a good way to go. He's definitely been second fastest today.
Especially
although in qualifying, I believe he only qualified 4th or 5th. So
I think so,
it
yeah.
like he was going to be. It looked like he was going to end up in the scrap, you know, with the AXR cars and with the Finnish drivers. But his race pace has been seemingly comfortably second fastest.
Yeah, you can see the mountains again at least now, Liam.
Yeah. But nobody's been able to touch Eck. Although if he drives like that, that was very, very sideways into the last corner.
The only person who's been able to touch X is himself in this race, and that's because he's making mistakes.
Let's not say that.
Wait, no.
I mean, he probably could with how far ahead he is, but...
Hey, that's different. Anyway. Further down the field, Ictonen in 4th position. We've got... How's Rob doing? Can he do the last corner this time? Go on, Rob. Last corner. Don't make a mistake. We're watching you. There he goes. That's so gentle. There we go. He's done the last corner. His car is... it's missing a front right wheel. Let's say that one.
Yeah, I guess he wouldn't want to... Even though he's got about a minute 20 to Derlax, and I mean Derlax
doesn't want to be last.
Still.
Being last,
I mean, he was 3.5 seconds faster than Derlax in the last lap, which just shows. I mean,
those tyres are
I'm surprised
shot.
his enters aren't dying faster.
Well, they should be now.
I'm mainly used to just the like the sport mode races, like I say, for whenever I want money. Like the Le Mans race or the Spa race, where the tyre wear is accelerated. So like that Le Mans race, you do a lap on inters, which is 3 minutes,
And it's just dead.
Destroy them. Same with the Spa one. I don't think the Spa one is as accelerated as the model.
think
You
it's
still absolutely
4?
munch your tires. Yeah, it's like 2 laps around Spa and enters on a dry track, and you absolutely destroy it. I mean, like, when I'm doing like money races on this, I'm very casual. I do it on my pad. I usually don't even have sound on. I'm listening to music or I'm listening to a podcast, and it's like you still sometimes have to focus because you get conditions similar to these, where if you go an inch wide, you're just gonna aquaplane straight off on slicks. So yeah, JLE in this time around. He might just be able to take this to the end. He's 3 minutes shy of where you would stop on a normal 2-stop.
You put it there, put it in Fuel Mix 2 for a little bit, and you'll be fine. Or you're going to have to do a double stop. Let's see.
We'll see based on how much fuel he puts in. It looks like he's going to
fuel.
go full fuel.
Yeah.
So
he's going to have to go fuel mode. Oh, goodness.
Oh.
That was...
Okay, but he just came out the pits at warp speed.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one who saw that then. Gently on the power, don't spin it.
Well, that's a new upgrade for the Supra. It can go Mach 5.
Yeah. Mach 10. Oh, Rob's in as well. Let's see, does Rob teleport out?
Fixing his damage.
Oh, Rob, do some teleporting.
I'll be fixing his damage.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah.
Game's
It
broken.
wasn't quite as weird as the Supra, but he just sort of
Warps.
teleported
Yeah.
to the exit.
You went to Tyrann for us. I've obviously got to get it on the power.
Yeah,
There we go.
watching cars have insane acceleration. Ethan is close to his pit stop.
Next lap.
Yeah, Eck can probably go another lap or 2 extra over Ethan. He's got some extra fuel.
Yeah, Ect has
They're back
extra
into the
fuel.
20s.
Yeah, they are. They've got back in there finally. I tell you what, Ethan's matching the leader quite well here in these conditions.
I mean, lap 36, he was about a tenth off. Last lap, he was about 3.5 tenths off. So it's definitely closer than like the dry pace, where it seemed as though Eck had
A second
about
advantage.
A second a lap. Yeah.
We're still, what, 3-4 seconds off the pace there, but it's just showing that the track's just not drying, really. That is it.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that you can't push as hard as you want. You can't take as many carbs as you want. You don't want to go that 2 meters too late into a braking zone and
End up spiralling into a wall.
Because, I mean, as fast as Eck is, he does not... Oh, AXR.
Do that. Do that. Do
Yep,
right
I was
that.
about to say, as fast as he is, he doesn't have the same safety gap that he did in the last race.
Oh. It's that corner as well. It's been catching people out, and that's...
Yeah, we've seen Rob off there. We've seen, I think, a couple off there. And I think that's like the third or fourth time we've seen Eck have issues with it. He's still got about 6 seconds to Ethan, but it's like I say, he is outright the fastest driver by nearly a second today, but because of the rain in this stint...
Oh, is he spinning again?
He does not have the safety buffer to make that errors. And if he has to make an extra pit stop over everyone because of tyres...
Ethan in.
Yeah, Ethan crawling in the pit entry due to it still being wet, due to no cars going around.
I suppose that is probably an explanation why it's just not drying, isn't it? Or would it be? Would the game simulate that? More cars on track, more drier it gets?
I don't know. I don't know if the game just goes, you know, it's not raining anymore, it'll dry in X amount of time.
So I've only realised now that that is the Jägermeister sponsor on the side of the car. And he's put Ren on
I
it.
did think that. Yeah, I noticed that in the first end. I was like, it's clearly just like the Ren logo is covering the Meister bit, even though...
Oh, he's gone off again, that corner! Oh!
A little pet peeve of mine is the positioning of the decal, is it like gets covered by the rear wheel arch.
Yeah.
I wish they'd move it over a little.
Yeah, but I suppose they
I can
can't really
understand why they
move it
wouldn't
because...
of the set number board.
Yeah, they could move a tiny bit forward, a little bit. You've got a few millimetres to play.
I mean, as a livery designer, I wish I could say to Rob, like, I wish we didn't have those set number boards. I wish you could have, like say, like, you have to use this number board, but, like, make it a decal so they can put it where they want, but just say, you know, there has to be one on each side, one on the front.
Yeah.
But let them put it where they want.
I
Just
would.
make it the same. Because I'm sure someone like Ash could make up a number board that could say, you know, AXR GTWEC, Race Against Dementia, whoever,
Yeah, have it like a proper... I mean, surely that could be made pretty easily.
Yes, Ash is very good at making decals, so I'm sure he could do something.
Maybe,
I used to be able to make decals, but I've forgotten how and honestly don't want to.
maybe try and get Rob to commission Ash to make a decal.
A decal.
Yeah.
Yes. The man who works in painting cars and race cars says decal.
Yeah. There's
But then again, Rob is just a freak.
Yes, he is. Oh, I love that.
He's a lovely
flames.
freak, but he's a freak.
Oh, he's off again! Has he kept it going this time? He has. That gap, 43 seconds. Remember though, it's a... Oof.
Derlax is still going around on those intermediate tyres. He's got JLE just behind him. I think this is going to be the third time JLE has lapped him.
In comes the leader.
He's really, really wanting to play it safe on these tyres. Well, he's starting to chew up the rears. You can see he's doing 36s, 37s, whereas like Ek was doing 29s. Ekkonen was in the 30s. Ethan was in sort of bouncing between 29s and 30s. He's about 7 seconds off the pace on those tyres, and I'm sure some of that might be down to, you know, talent differences, but I'm sure a big chunk of it is down to tyres.
Right, up goes the fuel. In the lead goes Ektonen for this lap. He's got enough fuel to go for another couple laps, but they'll all be going to the end now. So Ek doesn't take full fuel. Well, that pit lane's always sketchy.
He needed to make it to the end, but how are his tyres going to be after 27 minutes of running?
So what's the gap then between first and second? It should be around about 10
Looks
seconds.
bigger than it was before. So he had about 8 seconds.
12, so 30. That was a 1 minute 30, so
Yeah, so he's going to need to make sure he doesn't make any more of those mistakes, because he's going to obviously have destroyed tyres by the end, and I mean, that doesn't seem to bother his pace, considering he was still doing
2
faster
seconds.
times than anyone else, despite his left rear basically not existing.
a few clouds starting to form again in the sky, though, it looks like that.
Yeah, it's I can see some dark clouds. Whether we're actually going to get rain or not, I don't think we're really in a position where rain is going to shake much up.
It could affect the lead.
The closest cars on track are Ethan and JLE, who are about almost 7 seconds apart.
Yeah, about 12 now.
Well, JLE's the car behind.
Oh, I was... Brain isn't working.
You're obsessed with Ek. Anytime I talk about anyone else, you think I'm talking about him.
He's just the
If it's
leader.
downpoured right now, the big winner would be Ekkonen.
Yes, he would be having a lot of fun.
Because obviously Ek didn't seem that fast in the wet. It seemed like the fastest cars were the Finns and Joker in the rain. You know, Ek and Ethan seemed similar pace, but they seemed to just be lacking 3-4 tenths to what some others were managing in the wet conditions.
Indeed, of course, the Finnish are very good in the wet conditions, figuring they literally live in the rain and the snow.
Yes, they make rather good
Rally
I mean,
drivers.
obviously they're known for some F1 drivers, but they make some damn good rally drivers and rallycross drivers. I mean, all of Scandinavia does. You watch rallycross, and it's basically just Finns, Danish, and Norwegians and Swedes.
Yes. And of course, you've got
There's
your...
a reason that most of the Scandinavian countries have a round in the World Rallycross.
Yes, indeed. Of course, you've got your few drivers from Finland and F1, of course, of likes of Rosberg, who...
Well, yeah, Keke.
yeah, Keke.
Before anyone thinks we think Nico is Finnish, yeah, you think of...
Technically
Blake and then
he
Hakkinen.
is Finnish,
He is.
but he's also Monaco and German.
Yes, he's German, but was born and raised in Monaco.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
You think of Finland in F1, but they only have a handful of world champions.
Hakkinen.
Being one of the most overrated world champions ever. I'm just going to throw that out there.
and Baker Hakkinen being one of the best world champions out there.
Yeah, Hakkinen was very good. Arguably quite lucky to be a 2-time champion, considering
He nearly died.
what happened to Irvine in '99.
Wow. What happened to
Not
him?
Irvine, Schumacher,
Yeah.
when he broke both his legs.
And the fact that Hakkinen Nearly died
crashed
that
out in his
one
own
time.
Imola, crashed out in Monza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
of course...
if you think of the Scandinavians, like, I know you think of rally and you think of, you know, your mind will probably go to, like, Sebastian Loeb, Carlos Sainz, but then you've obviously got
people like Ronnie
Tommy
Peterson as
Mäkinen,
well in
Peter
F1.
Solberg. I mean, rallycross, you think of, it's Johan Kristoffersson who's dominated it, and before that it was Timmy Hansen, and, you know, generally Scandinavians make pretty good rally drivers.
Yes.
But I'm sure for most people, the first name they think of with rally is probably Sebastian Loeb or Colin McRae.
Oh, that's a big mistake here from X. Kept that going. Yeah, Colin McRae is always going to be the big one.
Yes, and with me being Scottish as well, you know, he was, and of
A
course
legend.
the games when I was a kid, the Colin McRae rally games, which
Oh,
I believe
back
now
on
the
PS1.
Dirt series.
It is, yeah. Colin McRae on the PS1. Good times.
Yeah, a lot of nostalgic racing games.
Yeah, and then of course you remember the Toka series as well, which is kind of
the Grid series.
kind of how most of us, I imagine, got into different classes of racing. I imagine probably be like Toka.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Toka introduced, like, you know, you had your Clio Cup, your rally racing. I think I remember mainly, I played all of the Tokas, but I think I mainly remember, I think it was 3, where I had the Williams F1 car.
That was correct. I did have the Williams F1 car.
And of course, like, you had some British touring cars, you had British GT, you had Le Mans cars. It's like, you know, that was a good way to, as a kid, experience different classes of motorsport. Because as a kid, you just naturally, through whether it's parents or just seeing it, or whether you gravitate to Formula One.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like I say, in
biggest.
terms of like getting information and coverage and whatnot, Formula One is far easier to get than any sort of GT series or touring car series or whatever. But you play Toka and it's like that, and then obviously you have the complete opposite side where you have like your Need for Speeds and your Midnight Clubs, which get you into road cars and modifying. And I mean, naturally, the Need for Speed series is still going to this day. Don't get me started on the last few Need for Speed games.
No,
although
last
Heat
one
good.
was...
Do not get me started on Unbound.
Revival, was that the one? That's the one I remember more. That was good.
Oh, you're going very back with that one.
That was
I mean,
one
I,
of
as
the
a
first
kid,
PS4
remember
ones.
playing, you know, playing like the Underground and Most Wanted and Carbon as a kid.
Yes.
And then it sort of deviated after that. You know, you had your Pro Streets, your Shifts, and then you got like 2015. And
Then it went a bit weird.
yeah, the only good one I'd say post PlayStation 4 launch is probably Heat. Heat was really good. I got a lot of enjoyment out of that one, but yeah, there's so little happening on track. We're literally just talking about old racing games.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just had Icken and Pitt.
Yeah, he's probably going to. I mean, JLE is going through turn 1 right now. Joker is just exiting the middle sector, so Ekinen is probably going to be in quite a bit of space. Whether he has, well, he's got fresher tyres and a bit more fuel. Is that enough for him to go and chase down JLE? But there is going to be about an 8.5 second gap for Ekinen to try and claw back.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the bit between his teeth as we're now into the 28s again. For your race leader, he can use all the Kirby like. 4 attempts down on his purple lap. So he's certainly pushing now, isn't he? Gap's now over 13 seconds.
Yeah, he's just blasted back into the 28s. There was no sign of a 28, there was some 29.4s, and then just bam, 28.4, so...
This is going to be a 27 this lap, I reckon, if he can hook it up.
He's gone a bit wide. I mean, it's starting to get dry enough that you can just about take those carbs, and it's not going to instantly murder you.
Yeah, he certainly is pushing.
So he had to get out of the throttle, but he didn't have to completely get off it. You know, he's starting to use the entry carb in turn 1, he can use the exit carb, and you can see when he does it, the little rain meter in the bottom left shows that it is considered sort of enters level, but it just enters level, so you can get away with it on slicks.
I am surprised it is not as dark as it should be.
Clearly something was very weird in your session with Rob as
Yeah, it was...
Joker in group passing Derlax. Derlax still on those intermediate tyres, and they are
Gone.
rather destroyed by this point.
Look, surprisingly they've lasted quite a long time despite that though.
Yeah, but you'd think, look at his times, 36, 36, 36,
Yeah, he's
37,
just been lapped by
37,
Rob
38.
as well. And in comes Joker.
Derlax comes in this time. Surely to God, he's got to put the slicks on this time around.
Well, if he doesn't, then he's a bit of a silly bean, as the race leader really trying to push. And is going more off track than on track. Let's see into the last two corners. Are we going to see a 27 this time around then for your race leader? He was only 3 tenths off. Last sector seems to be the wetter one, but 28 again, 28.5, so it's about a second off pace as out comes. Let's see, is he going on the soft side? Liam, good news.
He's finally gotten off those enters. And how long is he going to keep it in a straight line? I mean, the edge of the track is a lot drier.
Yeah, it's pretty much bone dry.
I mean, you're seeing people taking curves and whatnot, and they're getting away with it. Yeah, I mean, Ekkinen is proceeding to fall back slightly from JLE, so everyone's just sort of falling away. Although JLE is matching Ethan's pace. I mean, Ethan's done 2:29.5s, but JLE has done 29.4 and 29.6. They kind of equal themselves out. Ethan has a little more fuel and some
about
slightly fresher right rear tire.
Yeah, pretty much the same that.
Interesting. Some people seem to be using the right tyres more, which you'd guess is these two lefts that JLE is coming up to, and some people seem to be using the lefts more, which you would presume are the last two corners and turn 5.
Yeah. So it shows where people are pushing.
Yeah, some weird balance going on between the cars. I mean, some seem to be very front limited, some seem to be rear. I mean, obviously the only front-engined cars, or sorry, the only mid-engined car is the Mazda.
Certainly is. We're at a 28.1 now for your race leader, as it continues to get darker and darker, as it's slowly getting more and more cloudy. When I say cloudy, I mean there is a big dark cloud moving over the circuit as we speak.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a little bit of rain right at the end. It's certainly darkening, and so this is what I meant when it was getting dark. It was this, I imagine.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that dark.
Well, yeah, imagine if it clouds completely over. I just don't know. I've done this Rob had that lobby going for a long, long time.
JLE has found a little extra pace. He was 4 tenths faster than Ethan in the last lap. That's not enough at this stage, but he seems to have a small pace advantage based on the last lap.
Yep. Down to a 7.6 second gap. 17 now for the race leader, who is really just pushing on to try and go even quicker. Can we get a 27?
He wants to almost protect, I guess, if he has to stop again, if his tyres go, or if he
28.1 again.
If he makes another mistake. But I think the track seems to be dry enough in all the curbs and edges that his chances of making a mistake are reduced.
I'm sure we're just on board there, as you can just see that cloud forming over the circuit. And I wonder what the weather radar would be doing at this stage. Licton down in there, that gap opening up, if anything, to JLE Liam, so looks like that battle for third mostly over.
Yeah, JLE is pulling away from Ekkinen, but he does seem to have a little pace advantage now over Ethan. He's got it under 7 seconds, but at this rate, with this time left, I don't think he has enough.
He needs to be taking
Ethan making a mistake, or
half a second a lap.
About what? Yeah, you think there's going to be about 9 more laps, 9, 10 more laps. We're not. I don't think we're going to get to the 60 mark.
No. About the mid 50s, I'd reckon. About 57.
I think 59.
I'm going to say 57.
Eck might just get onto a lap 60, I think, but I think we're going to end on about 59, 58.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be around that area. Unless we get a bit of rain.
Of 90 from the first stint.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I mean, combined,
1 minute laps for that.
Combined, it's been nearly 90. It's a bit more than 90.
We'll have had
120. I can't count, can I? Oh dear.
Oh, it was nearly a second that JLE took out of Ethan that lap. Ethan went a bit slower, 30.0.
29.1.
With a 29.1, so 9 tenths. That's more what he needs.
Yeah, if he does that...
that was also a combination of a poor lap from Ethan by the time it was half a second slower than his last two.
Does that another couple of times and it'll be golden. I'm relatively surprised it's not as dark as it was... as it is. Maybe Rob moved the time a bit earlier. Or has he slowed it down ever so slightly so it's not got as dark quicker? And who's that with a penalty? It's last place, 7th, with I think 6 minutes 10 seconds off the race lead, which is still going, getting points. That's all that matters, doesn't it, Liam?
Yeah. I mean, with the lower attendance, I mean, it's still a 7th place.
It's still good.
Coming behind him.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see since he's come out the pits now that he's almost soft, he's going 5-6 seconds a lap faster. It should be dry enough now that he can, if he wants to, get out of the way on the wet bit of the track.
No,
Might be a little sketchy, but
it should be fine because
as long as you're not flat out, you should be fine. Plus, you think you should be lifting anyway. He's getting the blues for Ethan, but Ethan is about a second behind. I think you need to close up a little more before Derlax is just going to dive out the way.
Yeah, as it gets darker and darker.
It was equal lap times last time around.
Oh, someone's off. That's Rob. Rob is doing some pirouettes in the gravel.
But he doesn't have damage this time.
Yes.
It's not been the best race for Rob. His pace has been there. I mean, there was a point in the wet phase where he was.
Oh, that's not a good place to get out of the way. That's a bit awkward. I mean, he does get out of the way though.
That might play into JLE's hands.
5.7 seconds, is it?
Yeah, he gained about 2 tenths through turn 5. So not a huge loss for Ethan.
Joker's picked up damage as well somewhere.
I wonder if he's again dropped out the last corner, because that feels like the only place you can really get damage from smacking a wall.
Yeah, he's definitely been off somewhere, like you say though, so... odd. Or is he just... Last lap was a penalty lap, because it had a P, I'm presuming, unless that was a pit lap, I don't know. As Rob does a million miles an hour at the pit lane.
Yeah, the pit laps seem to be a bit bugged because it's saying Rob pitted on lap 45, which just isn't true. It's saying Derlax just pitted, so I think the pit laps are kind of
broken,
messed up. Yes.
5.9 seconds to get now between first and second position. 10 minutes to go.
28 that time around for JLE.
29, another
7 tenths faster than Ethan. Well, there's only 10 minutes to go,
and
so...
purple sector 1, so he's pushing, but goes a bit deep there. But then gets a better exit still, but misshifts though. This is turning into a little bit of an enthralling battle here. And remember, that's a... oh, Ethan's made a mistake!
Oh, how much is JLE going to gain from that?
About 2 seconds.
It was about 5.5. It's down to 3.5, so yeah, about 2 seconds.
Just got a little bit too on the power on the grass. It just snapped slightly.
Providing Derlax doesn't get in the way of JLE, then if he can keep this, you know, half a second or so faster than Ethan lap he's probably averaging, we could get a tense finish for second place here.
The question is how much will Ethan fight it?
Oh, you think it's the end of the race?
It's
For second place. If you're gonna fight for it, it's at the end. I mean, we saw last race, nothing, nothing, nothing. Last 5 laps, it just kicks off.
yes, we are approaching the final 5 laps.
Yeah, so FJ
Yellow?
got a yellow.
Who's that?
That's
Is that
Rob.
Rob? Rob, what are you doing there? Can't park there, mate. Oh dear.
It's not been AXR's day.
It hasn't. Let's see, getting out of the way.
7 for Ethan last lap, yeah.
Yeah, that's again there, it gets out of the way. It's a bit of an awkward place to get out of the way, kind of right into the braking zone.
Yeah, I think JLE would have rathered him be clear before then, because you don't know if he's just gonna still have his nose in the apex.
Yeah, because I like some drivers like to cut in a little bit tighter than that, take different lines. I would have rather get out of the way on the exit of a corner, like or towards the exit of it, and more down the straight. But I just do as they do, I guess. That gap now 2.8 seconds, 2.9. Last lap we said 31.7, but that's that mistake lap. Gap.
JLE's setting PBs.
How's the leader doing? Is he in the 27s? He has. Has he got a second penalty? He has. Does it matter? No.
Nope, he's got that gap up to 27 seconds.
He's-
He's got his buffer back for if he makes a mistake or anything.
Yeah. Good for the last 9 minutes. Let's see what lap time's Ethan going to do. It's going to be 28.9 to a 28.5, so another half a second.
Yeah.
He's running out
If
of
it
time, though.
stays at this rate, it's gonna get close, but I think at this rate it should be enough for Ethan to hold on, barring another mistake, although JLE has took a lot of time out of him in turn 1.
Yeah, he's definitely using the
Taking about
curbs.
4/10. I don't know if Ethan made a mistake, but
3 temps down versus purple by a bit.
yeah, JLE is obviously very
Pushing.
quick in the first sector.
It's-
2.3, he's already taken 7/10 out this lap.
That's not good. That takes your prediction of it might be comfortable to a bit less comfortable.
Yeah, of course Ethan lost that 2 and a bit seconds with his mistake, and I mean even at this rate he would still have 4.5, so you'd be sitting thinking, yeah, he's fine, he needs like a second a lap plus and to be able to overtake him, but this has obviously been a slobby first part of the lap for Ethan.
No, if he can get it
Looks like
below
he's
2
going sideways there.
seconds at the end of this lap, then it'll definitely be good. I mean, he's going below again, so we're looking at his fastest lap of the race. We're presuming around about a 28.5, I'm saying. 28. No, it might be a bit lower than, but 28.3?
Yeah, he would have had his laps at the start. Joker's in, that'll be to clear his damage.
Let's see what we got then. So Ethan cross the line is going to be a 29.0 versus a 28.5. So another half a second there, but the gap opens up, if anything, there, back to a bit what it was. And let's see Ethan through turn number 1 again.
So it looks like the third sector is still not quite as easy as it was in the full dry, because JLE has consistently gone purple, blue, and then red.
Yeah.
I'm guessing his fastest lap is probably like 0.3 or something, because we didn't have that many laps in the dry.
We had about 7, 8 laps at the start.
Something like that. So they wouldn't have obviously had that many laps to put in something super fast. I mean, we obviously saw Eck put in a 27.1 at the start of the race last time around, and I think his fastest after the first while was only a 27.5 effectively.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
under 2 seconds for JLE.
it'd be nice to see if we can get another purple lap from your race leader. He's definitely pushing. He was 2 temps up that last sector, but he's got a bit wide, so I think he's invalidated his lap time, because the line does go purple. 27.3, new fast lap of this race. So, whilst he's just taking brownie points for himself.
3/10 blue for JLE through the middle. Is he going to be able to actually hold it through the last sector this lap? This is where he keeps losing time.
5 minutes to go.
Seems like he's
We've got
not gained that much to Ethan this time around, maybe a 10th or 2.
4 laps to go. If my prediction is now correct in my brain, looking at 5 minutes. Maybe 3, 4 laps.
There's 3/10 this time around. JLE did set his PB for 28.3, but 3/10 isn't enough. He
Yeah,
needs a mistake or something from Ethan, or he needs to start getting himself into the 27s.
And now that gap's not closing up as much in sector 1 as it was last time. He's taken about 3 temps. Now it's nothing. So Ethan's getting a bit more confidence in the car. How's the race leader doing? Is he going purple again? No, damn.
No, but at the time he lost in Sector 1, he's pulled it all back up in Turn 4.
It's a nice little back and forth, isn't it? But it just needs a mistake.
Yeah, he needs a mistake or just to find an extra tenth or two.
Even so, I mean, he's running out of laps. Gap now.
Only 3.5 minutes remaining, so I think my prediction of 59 laps is going to be about right.
Yeah, I said 57. That's not going to be about right because we're on that 57.
Clearly, what this stream has proven is I'm really good at predicting things.
What it's proven is I can't count.
Well, we knew that though.
Yeah, we've known that a long time. It's even got a
Like
bit too wide there.
When you worked out the laps for our St. Croix race, and each race was way too long.
Hey, did it provide good racing still with that extra lap? Yes.
I don't even recall. I just remember I beat you in race 3 for the win.
Yeah, you did, thank you. Hey, I beat you in race 1 for a win at Nürburgring.
Yeah, you had an OP car.
I don't know about. Race 2 was OP.
Well, no crap, you had a 4-wheel drive in the race, like a second and a half faster than anyone
Yeah,
else
that was a bit of a joke.
Everyone else at least had front-wheel drives, so they were, stable. Me and Ethan and Rob had rear-wheel drives, and we were just fighting for our lives to keep the thing pointing in a straight line. I just turned traction control on.
And I'm just sitting there cruising through the corners like, hello.
Yeah, it's just like it's dry for you.
It was pretty much. It was
8 for Ethan.
Nah, it's
and
1.6, 1.5. I don't think it's enough.
No, there's going to be 2 more laps. Well, maybe not for these two, actually.
I think this might be the last lap.
Yeah, they might get 1 after this.
They got across the
They're gonna
line
be on the bubble.
just...
Eric is going to get lap 59. We'll see what Ethan crosses the line with, because if he crosses it before, say, like, the 1 hour 28:30 mark.
Yeah, it's the last lap. It's their last lap. This one.
Oh, it's going to be tight. I don't know. I don't think JLE is going to get 1.
No, they're both not going to get 1.
I don't know. If Ethan...
That's going to
If
be
Ethan does a
fine.
low 28, he can do 1. Because he crossed it with like 31.5. So if he's a low 28, he can do another lap. Whether he wants to or not is another question. I guess he might, just considering he needs to be safe from JLE.
Yeah, that's always smart, and just in case anything mysterious like a steward's report came in, he would be very safe. But they don't get time penalties in this series, so it doesn't matter. You get point deductions, I believe. I don't know. Last lap of the race either way, and it's been a fine drive for your race leader, who's won both the stints pretty much. Well, he's not won this stint yet. He will do. For the last 2 corners.
The ones do 59 laps.
And 1 extra lap on board as well, for good measure. So he gets a whole lap just to himself. Across the line he comes to start his final lap of this race, but with half a minute to go, have these guys... Is he got another lap, or are they going to get lucky? I mean...
I think Ethan might squeeze another lap. If he's done a good enough time here, if he does a low 28, he might do it by a couple of tenths.
This is going to be close. Or he might just lift at the last second. I don't think it matters. I think he's going to have... It's going to be close. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59... Yeah, just... There you go.
Milliseconds. I told you he would.
And poor old X got to deal with Ethan on his last lap.
I want to go to bed. Why the fuck did Ethan have to do that?
Wow. Yeah. Ethan's ruining Liam's day. They're going to have an Ethan rant. Here we go. Off we go. Ethan rant.
Fuck you, Ethan.
SPM. Here we go then. X through the last 2 corners, into the right hand up, through the first one, nice and sideways, drifting it through. He's excited, he knows he's got the win, through the last corner, completely sideways, and across the line to win back-to-back stints, and half a second penalty for good measure. And now, for half a minute of Ethan.
bar some mistakes in race 2, the only thing you can throw at him was he didn't do a 26.
Yeah, that's the only thing. He didn't do a 26. And here we go, waiting for Ethan to cross the line. Through he comes into the last corner. Double podium, double second position. Lovely jubbly. Up to the line. And there we go. And there we go. Everyone's finished. Now it's got to wait for... There we go. Thank you, game. And that has been that race. So Eck wins from Ethan. Liam's gone already. Ikonen in third. Lennon in fourth. Joker, Rob, and Lendelat. But I have been evil. Liam has been Liam. And we shall see you at some point in the future. I don't know. Soon. But thank you very much.
Bye.
Goodbye.